Welcome, one and all, to Hazard Analysis Episode 2, folks. I am your King of Extreme, Phil KOE, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower. Right here at Hazard Analysis on YouTube. What are you doing? Smash that subscribe button, folks. And we are here to talk about all of the crazy topics of the day, and with adding just a little bit of flavor to help change up that humglumdrum that is the daily life that we must all go through. And we come here to Hazard Analysis to get right down to the core of it. So, folks, I am, of course, Phil KOE. You can find me right here at Hazard Analysis, Truth and Fiction Pod, and KOE Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. And this evening, I am joined by a crazy cast of characters that's going to be coming in throughout the night. But right here at Show's Open, I am joined by the one, the only, my indomitable broadcast partner through the years, the one, the only,
the quadruple distilled, non-chill filtered, 14-time Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast champion, Tony fucking G. Like, share, subscribe to brand new YouTube channel, Hazard Analysis on YouTube. Now, I know that's going to be kind of a pain in the ass to find, but those of you who are watching on Twitch, on the Big Buckin' Empire, on the Twitch, on the Facebook, on the YouTube of the Big Buckin' Empire, I promise, if you go to like Facebook, you should be able to find it. Hopefully, now that we're actually posting content to the channel, it should be a lot easier to find. Fingers crossed, folks. Fingers crossed.
One would hope. And also, we are joined this evening by the first time ever appearance here on Hazard Analysis by this illustrious guest host. He is also your President KOE's pick for head of the EPA himself, the amazing, the master debater himself, the one, the only, Iko Rich. How are we doing, sir?
I have a t-shirt that says that, actually.
Oh, sweet. Sweet. Right now, you're dealing with and actually, folks, in all the chats right now, because Tony mentioned it, I'm just dropping in all the chats. This is the link to the new YouTube channel, Hazard Analysis.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Be sure to give that a little subscribe, folks. You know it's the right thing to do. Give it a little subscribe. Join us on this journey. Help be the fuel that makes this vehicle move forward, folks. It's all because of you. And so, gentlemen, it's kind of strange. We had this idea, like, let's go live on Thursday. It'll be a fun day. And golly howdy, it's just been such a slow news day. There's just nothing.
Nothing really ever happens on Thursdays.
No. Like, it's just, just humglum.
Hate Thursdays.
Yeah. Like there's some folks who hate this Thursday in particular because, folks, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. Yes, folks, Donald J. Trump, President Trump, indicted by Manhattan DA Bragg. So, folks, is this something for the Democrats to brag about, or is this going to be another instance where, just like Russian collusion, the two impeachments, and the FBI raid, the left and the deep state trips over their own dick again? We shall see. We shall see.
As we start off with that, I do want to mention, I see Alesto TV in the chat. Now, Alesto, you paid a bunch of coffee bucks at buymeacoffee.com/Tony G to spend drinks because the Facebook stars are kind of a hassle right now and they're not really working properly. So, Alesto, you still probably have at least 2 drinks to give out, and I'm still willing to honor those from the other week that you dropped those, because we're nothing but fair here at the Big Buckin' Empire and Hazard Analysis. So please, Alesto, if you would like to sprinkle those out throughout the night, or you can just drop them right now. But obviously, also, you Facebook subscribers, the $5 a month tier platform, exclusive subscribers, if you go to the Big Buckin' Empire and you subscribe for $5 a month, you get to give us a drink every single show. And that is the greatest deal in live streaming. So not only do I have a little whiskey here right now, I've got some other various things, and I've got some beer to chug.
Yank has to take a shot.
Wow, that is...
we love it. We love it. But while Yank gets that ready, there's something else that needs to be announced to you, beautiful people. Here at Hazard Analysis, I want to give something a little different than what you're used to, because we know the flash and the flare that is amazing shows like the Tonight Show, and we know the confrontation that can happen on things that are panels like here, and I want to bring those two together. So throughout the night, we're going to be bringing you fresh new faces and folks that you haven't maybe seen on this show or any other show before. Now, this is also a debut here on Hazard Analysis, and I am really happy to bring on the one, the only, oh fucking Cyrus. How we doing, sir?
Well, look, I have never felt so special with an introduction like that. So I feel great. I feel good. How's it going, people?
Wonderful. And you're also coming through loud and clear, emphasis on the loud part. So, but yes, we are glad to have you along, and we were just getting into the nitty gritty. You know, I was just telling Aiko and Tony, it's been such a slow news week. Nothing's really happening today. It's kind of the glum humdrum of the average everyday life. Just another average day in Americana. We're definitely not descending into Banana Republic territory. So we're here at the Trump indictments, Osiris. I was just about to ask Aiko, you've been following this maybe a little bit. I think it's fair to say. Yeah, just a touch, just a fritter, just a smidge.
It affects all of my debate cases, honestly. So like this just means more work for me. Like I have to rewrite like 2/3 of our briefs now.
So you're like most of us streamers, like, son of a bitch, we all gotta go live tonight. I'm like, all right. So what are your thoughts on this particular case? Because here, once I get you two gentlemen's thoughts on this, I'm going to read aloud for the beautiful audience here at Hazard Analysis, Big Buck and Empire, KOE Nation, everything, for Donald Trump's response. But first, I want to get you gentlemen's thoughts. So, Aiko, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, okay. So if we're specifically talking about Trump's response, then we've also got to talk about DeSantis's response, because he put out a communication saying that he would not extradite, which sort of is irrelevant because the Trump attorney has already said that he's going to be arraigned on Tuesday and that he's showing up for the arraignment. So it sounds like bravado to me, but it's interesting. It's interesting because we're not talking about federal jurisdiction here. We're talking about state jurisdiction, which means like there's nothing that can compel, unless there's an extradition agreement that gets broken, and I suppose that would be like a violation of law at that point. But it's not as if he's like, if it was a federal indictment and they tried not to extradite, like that would be a problem. I think if Trump were to change his mind this weekend and not show up in New York, I can see him, like, maybe if he were going to take advantage of that, he would do it for the trial and not for the arraignment. But at any case, I think that's interesting. And the second thing about the reaction, it's not just Trump's reaction, but Trump followers' reaction, is that I've noticed a big shift. All the websites that I looked at before 9/11, like between the election, 9/11, between the election, yeah, 1/6.
Okay, I'm a Trump supporter. Like, no, it ain't that bad, man. Jesus, I'm like, holy shit! Like, the sun will rise again. Like, whoa.
Yeah. It wasn't the secret. It wasn't secret Antifa that caused 1/6. It was the secret Al Qaeda, apparently. No. It was between the election and 1/6. I was going on like all the usual Reddit sites, and what was it that, like TrumpSomething.org, that after they shut down some of the Reddit sites, ended up going there, and I was watching all of the discussions about how they were going to go. I was watching this for 6 weeks. And I was like, yeah, it looks like something's going to happen. It looks like I was one of the few people who said, yeah, what was going to happen happened. But now those same sites, the communications that you're seeing on those sites, and also on Trump News, on Fox News, and all these other places, the communication, like Tucker said, the same thing, which is they're all pulling in Admiral Akbar. They're all saying it's a trap. And so this communication of it's a trap, they're looking for an excuse to arrest you, don't go protest, is a very different message. And if that message wins out, and it looks like monitoring the sites that I monitor, it sounds as if they're going to try to avoid any sort of like major protest. Like last week when Trump called for protests because he said he was going to be arrested that Tuesday, and then it turned out to be like 8 Trump protesters, just behind a sad banner, and that was it. I think that might be what happens next week, and the message that's coming from Fox News is very different from the message that's coming from Trump world. Trump is saying, go out there, go protest, do what you can to stop this from happening, in the streets. And then Fox News is saying, don't go, it's a trap, don't show up. Those are very different messages. And I'm not sure Trump's going to be very happy with the way Fox is covering this, or at least not the way Tucker's covering it.
Trump hasn't been okay with the way Fox has covered things since January 6, 2020, 2021. But now curious, I really want to get into Osiris. What's your general thoughts here on this? Then, folks, I have another amazing announcement for you.
Microphone check. Am I not as loud?
Check it out. Yeah, you're perfect.
All right, great. So here's my initial thoughts on what's going on with that. It introduces some problematic things for politics in America because of the precedents this is going to set. And it's not that if it wasn't Trump, I don't think I would care as much. But the fact that Trump will retaliate in whatever ways he does and rile up some people is a little bit scary. I ain't gonna lie. It's a weird place to be in. And so, and I'm not saying that Trump is the devil. I'm not one of those people. I'm not saying that the people who support him are the devil. I'm not saying that. But there are some nutcases out there. And for all groups.
I was waiting for the but there. It's I'm not saying Trump's not the devil. And
no, there's no.
Oh, this is going to be one hell of a but.
No, look, I'll be honest. I am not a fan of Trump's character, but I also don't think he's the worst person on earth either. Like the way he governed or whatever he did. His character is abysmal to me. It's disgusting. But on the other hand, he's not the worst person who ever presided on earth. That is just not true. He's not Hitler, for sure. But I kind of worry about the precedents this is going to set. And my opinion is that even if a president commits a crime, they should be held. Their feet should be held to the fire when it comes to the law. Everybody should be there, all equal under the eyes of God. That's the way it should be. And he has been dodging the law for 40 years. This is a fact. And I've said this before he was elected. This is a fact. And I don't care about what the things that happened while he was president. I'm not even talking about none of that. I'm just talking about pre-president. He's been dodging the law for a fucking long time. But I would say let the facts say what they say and let the law do what it does. I am an institutionalist. I believe in the law. I believe in the institutions. I know that's not a popular take these days, but hey, this is where we're at. And hopefully things end up on the other side with a better America. If he did do things, then he should be convicted of said things. If he didn't, people should leave it the fuck alone and move on.
Well, we will get into that a little deeper, but honestly, Bragg had to actually make up a felony out of a misdemeanor that the feds didn't even try to prosecute. And there really is the question if the statute of, well, actually we kind of do. There's a reason the feds didn't prosecute.
Have you read the indictment?
And also, well, hang on. And also we have the real question of has the statute of limitations actually already expired on this, which most legal scholars would say yes. So the real purpose of this was not even for anything to happen in court. Trump will likely, if these charges aren't dropped, will be acquitted on everything. It's just to make Trump go through this process. So this is clearly political in its machinations and in its intent. The entire purpose of this is to try and take down a political opponent. And now we will get a little deeper into that, but folks, the hits just keep on coming because this is somebody that I've been trying to get onto this show for a good little while. He's a man that you need to make sure you don't have too much of it when you're adjusting your scope to try and shoot past 1,000 meters. He's somebody that is the master of the memers. He is one of the greats of all generalized panelage, and I am actually very happy to have his patronage, the one, the only, Para-fucking-lax. How we doing, sir?
What up, brother? How you doing tonight? How's everybody doing?
Marvelous. Welcome to this show, sir. Welcome to this show. Everybody's just showing up all dandy. It's marvelous.
I gotta tell you, I feel a little out of place. I see three American flags, a Texas hat, a cowboy hat, and a beard that could only be grown in America. So I feel like there's only one appropriate way to
are we about to get
this? Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby.
All right.
You know what's coming on. You know what's going.
Yeah.
How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Let me lay some things down here for you, okay? I'm here to let y'all know this is nothing but a dog and pony show. This is a distraction. They've taken our great former president, Donald J. Trump, into custody, or they will. They have laid out an indictment based upon nothing. This has already been investigated. Mr. Cohen's attorney addressed this years ago in a letter to the DOJ. This is going to be a waste of motherfucking time. And I say that as an unironic liberal. I am not a liberal, a lefty. This is going to be a waste of our time. This is nothing but a dog and pony show. They are going to drag this man out in the streets to try to discredit him, make him look bad. I do not believe that there's any foundational level of truth to these charges. I don't believe that it's going to amount to anything. I hope I'm wrong insofar as if they're going to fucking indict the guy, there should be a reason. Not because I wish ill on him, but it sets a really problematic precedent, in my opinion, if they are indeed going to drum up an indictment from what seems to be something that will result in almost nothing, if not nothing. And that's, again, coming from someone who, like, there was a point in my life where I was like, wouldn't it be great if when he was just coming off of Air Force One, he just fell down the stairs? I said that out loud one time, and I meant it at the time. Probably shouldn't have.
Now, you and Osiris are both kind of touched on something, and it's more to Osiris's point, but a little bit to yours too, Parallax, where is this going to go in the future? Because I can already tell you where it's going. This is now the trend. Every president who has ever elected president from now on is going to get indicted. After they're out of office, get ready for it. Joe better be shaking in his fucking boots, because the minute he's fucking out of there, I'm sorry. You think there ain't gonna be some fucking? I don't.
You
don't think there's gonna be somebody from like Texas or fucking Florida that's not gonna want to fucking? No. Here's the problem. Once you open that Pandora's box, turnabout's fair play. And this is the thing I keep telling, like, Joe's probably going to get impeached here in the next 2 years. And whether Democrats like it or not, turnabout's fair play. And now you've opened this Pandora's box where we're doing the banana republic shit of indicting and raiding the homes of, despite finding nothing, of your political opponents. Yeah, this is going to get a lot worse than it gets anywhere close to better.
So I hope, Phil, for your party's sake, I hope for your party's sake specifically, Phil, that you are so very wrong. I hope that Republicans prove me wrong, and I hope that true conservatism rises up here and they choose to take the high road, and they realize that they expose this for what it is. They expose this for what it is, and they go, we're not going to kowtow to this shit. This is not how our country works. This is not how we do things. I hope you're wrong. I think you're right, but I hope you're wrong.
I was about to say, if you're in any kind of contest, any kind of conflict, any kind of battle, and your opponent your opponent has a weapon and you refuse to use it, guess who's going to win that battle? So it's one of those. Unfortunately, turnabout is fair play, and so Joe's probably going to get
what? Like, do you know what my favorite part of the second presidential debate in 2016 was when Hillary was talking, the subject of her husband had come up, and Trump turned around to him and said, but he was impeached, as if that was like a shameful reason why the fact that her husband was impeached meant that she was ineligible to be president, couldn't run. And so, I agree. Pandora's box was opened, but it was opened with the Whitewater
investigation. Bill Clinton committed a felony on film. Okay, this is a little different. The fact that he's still fucking clean is actually pretty amazing. Donald Trump is actually now the impeachment champion. He's defeated 2 impeachments in a row, motherfucker. Like, and so I say, let's send him to Washington, and we can see if he can make the hat trick. He can defeat 3 solid impeachments, which Tony's made.
But the first one he shouldn't have actually on the legal merits defeated, Phil. And I think you know that.
Hold on.
Oh, you mean the first one where he was impeached for investigating things in Ukraine that we now know to be true?
But hold on, are you saying that Trump meant in 2016 during the debate, hey, your husband beat an impeachment, that makes him a great guy? Is that what Trump was saying in that debate?
No, actually. What do you think he was saying?
Oh, well then.
No, because Donald Trump's were just complete cooked up bullshit. Well, okay. And it was the actual moment that the Pandora's box was opened of completely and purely politicized impeachments. Because I'm sorry, whether you like it or not, you can hate it, you can despise it. Bill Clinton committed a felony on film under oath and still walked fucking clean. So I'm sorry. The idea that
I understand why Trump said he could shoot somebody at Fifth Avenue and get away with it, because if he was on film, he would still get away with it. At least he said that.
That is a really good attempt at redirecting there, but no, like that's why Bill Clinton was in fact impeached, is because he actually, not hypothetically, not making a joke about it, not saying words, but with actual factual action on film.
You're talking to somebody
a felony. He was actually disbarred for it. Okay, so
you're preaching to the choir. I voted against him twice, and I supported the impeachment.
And
you can go back and look at my old tweets.
I just want to keep you honest, brother. You know I love you, Phil, and you're such a good proselytizer. And you stand there on that little podium up there. I love you. You like a big American preacher with some whiskey. I love it. But I got to keep you real, dog, because there were 2 charges in his first impeachment, and one of them was specifically for trying to extort Zelensky to try to get him to investigate a political opponent. Irrespective of whether the
investigating things we now know to be true in Ukraine.
Irrespective.
So wait. So you're saying we shouldn't overturn every rock to look up crimes? You say we should. It's best that some things remains unsolved.
He withheld aid, and that is the issue. Not that he encouraged the investigation, which Biden encouraged the investigation as well. Let's not forget that. He withheld aid, and that is the issue.
Getting prosecutors fired in Ukraine. Yeah, that's how he aided that.
Yeah, for not doing the investigation.
Literally, Donald Trump was impeached for investigating the Biden crime family for things that we now know to be true in Ukraine. You can say no, but that's in fact what happened.
No, it isn't. He was impeached for withholding aid. He was impeached for withholding aid to President Vladimir Zelensky.
Because they weren't going to investigate things in Ukraine that we now know to be true.
Under the charge of the abuse of power charge.
By the way, a little bit of news.
You can't argue.
Beat them both, wouldn't you know?
A little bit of news. It's 34.
Mittens didn't agree,
according to CNN. We'll find out if that's true or not.
What was that? I couldn't hear you.
It's apparently it's a 34 count indictment. So
they're going to try and stack the charges, but here's the thing: it's going to be like the FBI raid, where you're actually going to see Trump's polling numbers improve after this, because it's given Tony, you've seen it 1,000 times. Why did Hulk Hogan always sell? Because it built the sympathy for when he started hulking back up, and then the crowd started getting wild. So all this is going to do is kind of build more sympathy, because everybody on the right and most moderate normies see this as a guy getting kind of railroaded on political BS.
I'm on the left, and I see him getting railroaded a little bit.
Honest question, does anybody on this panel, anybody in this show, see any possibility of Trump actually being able to get a fair trial? Paul, tell you something, folks.
Well, yeah.
Out of all the things to do, this is not the thing to bring the charge on it.
Well, hold on. So, Phil, you've had 2 predictions. Well, I've heard 2 predictions from the right. He's going to get away. None of these charges are going to stick, and it'll be an unfair trial. So you're saying he's going to be found innocent because the trial's unfair?
Well, no, it would probably get thrown out, actually. But no, I'm saying, do you see any possibility of Trump actually getting a fair trial if this goes to full trial? Do you see any way of him actually getting a fair trial? Because really, this should be thrown out.
Yeah, I do.
The charges should be dropped entirely.
You haven't seen the indictment. I don't think you can say that, Phil.
Yeah,
sure I can, because
we haven't
this just
seen
so
it happen.
happens to be the leading candidate for the Republican side. Just so happens to
So
be
we should throw
during
it out.
our current.
Wait,
Throw it out?
Phil. Let me
I'm
ask you
sorry, it's a
question.
little
above
cute
the law.
that they're having
Phil.
to invent felony charges that the
Hold
feds
on,
actually
hold on.
didn't bring
know the
in
charges.
order to.
You
Can I
haven't.
ask you a question,
You're
Phil?
inventing
Sure,
that
all right.
invention. We haven't
Phil.
seen.
Play pretend. We know what this is.
There is
Wait,
one.
So
why-
this
charge
doesn't
that
have
we-
anything to do with Stormy Daniels then. This will have nothing to do. You will state that this will have nothing to do with
Well,
Stormy
hold on.
Daniels.
Hold on, you're saying they're inventing Stormy
We have
Daniels?
no idea what the charges are. You will say this has nothing to do with Stormy Daniels right now.
No, that's not the point. When
Okay,
people
all right.
say that they're inventing charges, what they're saying is that there's an unprecedented stepping to felony charges based on campaign finance violations. But that's not what the law says. The law doesn't limit to campaign finance violations. The law says that if you do this, if you pay somebody off in this way, in order to cover up a crime, then it steps up to a felony. That's not unprecedented. That's not invented. They've done that many times. What they haven't done before is do that for a campaign finance violation at the federal level. And so that's called an escalatory crime. If there's an escalatory crime, that's not the campaign finance violation. If they decide to go for a different violation, one that's been prosecuted before, then it's not made up whole cloth. It's not unprecedented. It's something that's already been done before, and they'll be doing it yet again with this case. So until we get the indictment, we don't know. If this is about the campaign finance thing, then yes, it's unprecedented. If it's about some other crime that he did, like for instance, David Pecker was one of the clues we have is that David Pecker was called in again this week to talk to the grand jury, which means this is about the catch and release stuff, which is itself a crime. Catch and release, what do they call it? Catch and
are you talking about the practice
Quash.
of like where he'll pay a tabloid not to publish the story?
Right, a tabloid buys exclusive rights to the story and then doesn't publish it.
Right.
So
they buy it specifically on the behalf of the benefactor, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So if David Pecker testified to
We're
that,
really trying to invent some crimes here, folks.
well, no, David
But that
Pecker
is
is also
actually-
not like.
Well, no, it's like I
David
said to you
Pecker
the other
said-
day, Aiko. He was guilty to you and folks and a lot of folks on the left 6 years ago. You need only hear that and see the charge.
Well, hold on. Yeah, if he's guilty, first of all,
Interesting.
that's the second thing.
No,
is
I
you
mean, like, no,
mentioned the
Parallax,
statute of
think about that. For
limitations.
too many people on the left, he was guilty from the moment he came down off that escalator,
Does that
and they've
align with
only
my
been looking
opening
for a
statement?
charge.
Does that align with my opening statement?
Not
what I'm
of this.
asking.
This is you have to go with the
I
specific
don't know
crime
if it
that's
would've
being
won. I
charged.
can't
Like it doesn't
No,
really
yeah,
matter.
no, yeah. Wait. This is what I want to ask you, Phil, because I'm not on the left. I don't give a fuck about the left. But I say he's guilty of things he did before he was president. Do you think
He's innocent until proven guilty.
All
Right, but like, sorry,
that's
so,
all
like,
trial
I
is.
have the high ground here.
Shouldn't have
You
thrown
cannot
that
say
Romney
man is
for
innocent
me.
until proven guilty. So people are like, I know goddamn well he's guilty, and by God, we're gonna find out what. Like, I'm sorry, but those people have the low ground there. They're not standing on an actual.
But do you remember
first of all,
that-
that's
can I
not
ask a
true. Hold on.
slightly-
I want to
can
finish
ask a
this real
slightly
quick.
sideways question. Go ahead, brother.
First of all, we know that's not true. Money buys freedom in America. First of all, we know that's true. Second of all, do you think he did anything wrong before he was president?
Probably shouldn't have cheated on his wife, but that's not.
I don't care about cheating on. He can get his dick sucked. I don't
Well,
care
I mean,
about
you said
Bill Clinton.
wrong.
I don't care about Trump.
Like,
getting their
to
dick
me,
sucked.
it's
I don't care
like
about
in
none
terms
that.
of wrong, like
Illegal.
Yeah,
Unethical
illegal?
or illegal.
the IRS would have fucking dinged him by now. He's been under audit for years. If he would have actually, if he was half
He said
of
he was
the,
under audit.
the
It
evil
turns out he
crime
wasn't.
lord that the left thinks he was, the IRS would have fucking dinged him
I thought this in the
fucking
90s.
years ago.
I thought
So
this in the
yeah, I
90s.
just think it's a fantasy.
And it's
that
well
he's some
documented
sort of
that he's
like
been dodging. He's been dodging court cases, it's civil court cases and state court cases for quite a long time. So are you telling me that just because he's not been convicted, he did nothing wrong? Is that the message that we're getting here?
I thought we had the presumption of innocence until proven guilty.
But
Okay,
then
wait,
why
can I-
why
can I-
can't
can I
lock
answer
her up
that
until
reply?
Like, whoa.
Yeah, let me ask
No,
you
wait,
a question.
Osiris,
Let's talk
I'll be
about
honest with you.
Hillary.
I
How
have
do you
done
feel about
things that
Hillary?
are
Is Hillary
bad within the
innocent?
last
Is
few
Hillary
years,
innocent?
but
Is
I don't know
Hillary
what.
innocent? Is Hillary innocent?
Hillary
What
had
about
a
Hillary?
kangaroo court.
Benghazi, Phil? How do you
Hillary
feel
had a
about Hillary and
kangaroo
Benghazi,
trial
Phil?
in
How do you feel about Hillary and Benghazi,
2016
Phil?
at the RNC. Remember Chris Christie?
She probably shouldn't have destroyed all that
she
evidence.
innocent or
That is
is
a
she-
felony.
No,
Comey didn't prosecute.
Wasn't found guilty of it.
Phil.
Wasn't found guilty
She's
of it.
presumed innocent.
But no, she actually has. It's actually proven
Presumed
she did
innocent.
actually destroy.
Well, no, it
this.
wasn't proven.
Presumed
You're
innocent.
until proven
No,
guilty.
she actually
found
copped to that.
innocent. She
No,
was found
that was
innocent.
actually in discovery.
But
So you
she
can
was-
play
but she-
pretend. You
but
can
she was
all
found
play
innocent.
pretend if you like, but
She
no.
was found
Sorry,
innocent.
in discovery, Hillary did admit. to
Okay,
this.
so you
Sorry,
don't
folks.
truly believe.
Yeah, she deleted some
innocent
emails.
until proven guilty in a court of
You
law.
do realize that Trump was also found to have had an email server that made hers look tiny and cute by comparison, right?
What do you mean?
I'll pull it up for you.
It's like, and did he destroy all the evidence on it?
Phil, here's the problem I'm having.
Apparently not.
because-
No, we haven't gotten.
Phil,
Apparently
Phil,
not,
hold on.
because it's being looked through. So,
Phil, here's the problem I'm having with the angle that you're taking here. When somebody says that the other side did something wrong, but they didn't get convicted, you have an excuse for that
That
one.
was the
But can I have
fucking
an
Bush administration. My fault.
I don't really care. Look, if Trump, hold on, let me say
okay,
this.
I'm not going to defend the Bush administration, though.
If
Yeah,
Trump
neither
got
am I. I'm done
indicted
with that
and
line.
convicted, and the Clintons got indicted and convicted, I'd applaud both of them. If they were convicted under a strict legal scrutiny, I am fine with that. Don't give a fuck. But you can't say that. Well, Donald Trump did something wrong, but he didn't get convicted.
About to
And then
smoke this
Hillary
victory
Clinton did
blunt,
something
though,
wrong, but
just for
here's the
you.
excuses why she didn't get convicted.
Yeah, exactly.
Hillary
Hillary's
gotta
not
do both
innocent
sides
until
of the
proven
They
fence.
guilty.
tried for 30 years.
Yeah,
This blunt's for
they've
Hillary.
been
Well, no,
trying to
I'm
get
just
Clinton
saying
off
she
forever.
shouldn't have destroyed that evidence that they have evidence that she destroyed.
But
Okay,
Trump was a legal
but if that's the
mastermind and
sta-
didn't
but
get
if-
So,
yeah, but if
like,
that's
yeah,
the
we
standard
can-
you're gonna lay. I have plenty of crimes Trump has historically actually copped to the same way
So,
you're doing.
what evidence did Trump destroy in these crimes?
I'm not.
Well, we got a bunch of empty
If-
folders
he
at
threw away the
Mar-a-Lago that
condom.
were
Destruction
never.
of evidence
Right,
is
he
what's
threw away the
never been
condom
covered. Is
after he
destruction of
fucked
evidence. Hold
Stormy
on.
Daniels, and it's just
Is destruction
nobody
of
wanted to
evidence the
siphon
only
through
crime you're
trash
okay,
to
you're
find
going to
his
be mad
Cheeto
about?
dick.
Because I feel like I don't know. I feel like
Oh, I
grabbing
think the
people by
Stormy
the pussy
Daniels
who didn't
stuff
give
is
you
an
consent's a little
appetizer.
worth focusing on.
Stormy Daniels stuff is I care about that as much as I care about Bill Clinton getting his dick sucked in the
Yeah.
balls. I don't
First
care.
of all,
I
hang on,
don't
hang
care.
on. Gents, I have to do something for the subscribers here. The subscribers demand that I take a shot.
It
Gin.
is
Tony,
gin time.
will you
Uh-oh.
give me a full screen here?
Trey Powell, I'll take a hit for you, brother, even though you
Oh,
called me
thank
like retarded or some shit earlier.
See? Can I get full screen, sir? Or do you have the power and the capability?
Uh-uh.
There we go. All right. To all you beautiful folks out at KOE Nation, Big Bucket Empire, and Hazard
Oh, this isn't
Analysis,
for me.
to fighting, stealing, and drinking. If you're going to fight, may it be for a friend. If you're going to steal, may it be a lover's heart. And if you're going to drink, by God, I hope it's with me.
What if I'm gonna smoke?
That face though. Not a gin
Why?
drinker, I see.
My audience loves me. So, Tony, you've been quiet as a church mouse lately.
Oh, did you
What's
notice
your-
I'm here? Did you
what's
notice
your-
I'm here, Phil? Thanks, buddy.
What's your thoughts on all that, Mr. Cowboy Hat Man?
Yeah, so it was nice.
I like
Phil's like, hey, here's my thoughts. Hey, Aiko, what are your thoughts? Hey, as soon as we're done with that, we're going to introduce Osiris. Hey, Osiris, what are your takes? Oh, hang on a second. We got another guy. Hey, oh, that's right. I got a co-host. Fuck you, Phil. You're such an asshole. Anyway.
I resemble that
co-host?
remark.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you,
apparently.
dog.
No, I'm just here to look pretty. I'm the eye
Motherfucking
candy. I'm like
co-host,
the
and I've
Alice
never
in the
met him.
Brady Bunch, just sitting in the middle, taking it all in. I'm here to clean up the mess.
Even your
Does
cowboy
that
hat
make
is
me Marsha? Because I just showed up at the end and stole the spotlight. Marsha, Marsha, Marsha.
I don't want to be Jan. All right. What this is count it 1, 2, 3, the fourth impeachment of Donald Trump. Because we already had his third impeachment hearing with the January 6 hearings, and that went over about as well as the first two impeachments. And the only reason it's not another impeachment is because we can't technically call it that, but let's be honest, that's exactly what this is. It's going to be the same bullshit rhetoric, make something up, throw a bunch of monkey feces at the wall to see what sticks. And guess what? This is over nothing that anybody gives a flying fuck about. And if you say that you actually care about it, let's be frank. You don't care about the actual issue. You just care about Trump getting in trouble. And how much trouble is he going to get in? Exactly as much as he got in the first three impeachment failures. This is exactly what they should not have done. If you want Donald Trump to not have a snowball's chance in hell in 2024, you need to leave him alone. Because what happens?
Keep his fucking name out.
What happens when a child is left alone, throwing a tantrum? They're going to get louder and louder and louder and more obnoxious if you just leave them alone. And eventually they'll peter themselves out. But here's the thing. If you give them fuel to the fire and if you give them a cause to rally behind, here's what's going to happen. If you want to indict him, go ahead. You didn't just hand him the 2024 election with an indictment. That's not what happened. But you definitely gave him a shitload of sympathy. Go ahead. Slap him in cuffs. I fucking dare you, because the election is over the second that you do that. You're not only going to turn around any fucking people that turned away from him in 2020 and bring them back to the Trump campaign. You're not only going to bring back probably several middle of the ground normies that voted Democrat, but you're probably going to flip the script on anybody who would have voted for any of the other potential Republican candidates. Like Pence, well, he had no chance in hell. Haley, obviously, she has no chance in hell. And if you put Trump in cuffs, DeSantis shouldn't even bother announcing if he's still going to, because that is fucking over, folks. If you put this man in cuffs, the election is over. And I don't even know that Michelle Obama could beat him if that happens, because here's the thing. There is no campaign in history that will be more successful than Donald Trump campaigning on saying, I was wrongfully imprisoned. I did hard time. Yes, you see, I got my scars. I got some prison tats. The Democrats, they came after me. I told you I was the one standing on the front line. They wanted to come after you, but I'm here. I'm your martyr. And guess what? It's going to fucking work. So
the only easier campaign is Michelle Obama holding her arms up and going, they picked on my arm fat. That one's way easier, bro. She wins that all day. I grew carrots and they got mad at me.
I agree with most of that, except I think that this would be the Democrats bailing out the Republicans. That is to say, if they could get him, that would give DeSantis a clean pathway through, and it would get there. There are a lot of Republicans up on Capitol Hill, like you guys all know this, who don't like Trump but can't admit it, and they would much rather have DeSantis,
like him when he's got the sympathy backing.
Well, exactly. So that's the point. So this would be good for Democrats if he got so popular on the right.
Why are the Democrats trying to stop him from running so many times? That was the entire point. Even Nancy Pelosi said the point of the second impeachment was to stop him from being able to run again. So I wasn't aware that the Democrats hated democracy
Pelosi
so much.
was making an argument that I don't believe, because I think she's cynical.
Yeah.
I don't think she wanted him to be impeached. I think she felt like she had to in order to, after everything that happened,
stop him from running again.
She couldn't be seen as weak. No, she couldn't be seen as weak as allowing something like this.
She gives
to
two
go
fucks
unanswered.
about her image.
But the fact is, we were told after the first impeachment that, you impeached Trump, you just guaranteed his reelection in 2020. Wait. I remember hearing that. No one remembers saying it now.
I actually said the entire point was to try and sandbag his attempts at getting reelected. That was the entire point.
Did that sandbag him, or did it make him more popular?
Well,
everything the Democrats have tried
probably sandbagged him, at least in Pennsylvania.
Hold on. Let me ask this question.
Now you're saying the opposite of what was just being argued.
No, wait. Sorry, been consistent the whole time. All night.
Was the 2020 election stolen?
We don't need to get into all that on air. You don't want to hear what Lil Old Me has to say about any of that. Then we want to keep we need to keep a channel up here.
Hold on, but I do want to say this.
Bullet right in front of your mouth that you still got to bite, dog.
I do want to say this.
You got to tell me Hillary's innocent. You got to tell me.
Because as far as
she hasn't been proven guilty in a court of law. I'll give you that.
There you go.
So as far as legal things go,
she never
if I had an issue with anything he did legally in the last couple of years, that's the thing I'm gonna have the biggest issue with. If you can't, if either you don't believe in the legal system, and he's innocent, or he's innocent, or you believe in the legal system and he's guilty. And this is where the divide is in America, right? Like either you believe or you don't believe. And I don't care about Stormy Daniels. I don't give a fuck about that shit. That's some personal shit. They can take that shit somewhere else. And indictments, I don't really care about because they have been shown not to be at least today, not that politically detriment to the candidate. It's just some dog and whistle bullshit. It's a dog and pony show for people to say, oh, look how bad this person is. Donald Trump has shown that those things don't matter. So if and I don't think it's the Democrats. I think if the legal system wants to nail them, they need to provide some real information, some real evidence, and if they can't do that, leave it the fuck alone. But if they can do that, that's the thing that he needs to be indicted on. I don't care about
the fact that it's Democrats that are pulling this out happens to be a coinky.
No, it's not. I don't think it's Democrats. So you think it's
okay?
Wait.
So
what's Alan Bragg's party affiliation?
Just because the DA is a Democrat doesn't mean that it's a Democrat.
That's 100% coinky dink.
No,
is that what you're
prosecutors don't? Prosecutors aren't.
There's 100% coinky dink. As not their politics have nothing to do with it.
Phil, and she's in New York.
Prosecutors are always like that's like saying that a cop has to be neutral. A cop can't be neutral. A cop is going to assume that you're doing something and is going to look into you. It's the jury that has the obligation.
That is
to be
a
neutral.
very nice way of saying that. Yes, politics absolutely is playing.
Prosecution. No. Prosecutors always are against the defendant because that's the prosecutor's job. Would you expect Trump's defense attorneys to be neutral? Would you say, that prosecutor?
A defense attorney is supposed to be a zealous advocate. A prosecutor is supposed to seek justice.
No, yeah, okay. Absolutely is supposed to seek justice zealously.
But yes, here's the thing: you are not supposed to be. No. The President Trump is not above the law, but he is certainly not below the law either. Okay, and that's where this Alan Bragg guy is trying to put President Trump, and that is where he's going to get the sympathy, and that is where you're going to actually help this man along the way. So really,
look, when the Starr report was released, Starr was obviously a Republican who was very much against the Clintons, but I had absolutely no objection to that because the fact is it was his job to investigate them. It was his job to prove their guilt. It wasn't his job to be judge and jury. It was his job to make the best case that he could against those people. So the fact that Starr was a Republican who was against the Clintons from the beginning really didn't mean anything to me because he was the investigator and the prosecutor. Like that's his job.
Same could be said as Mueller. I believe what Mueller said to be true.
All right, so hold on. Gentlemen, I want to hone in on something here, Phil.
And Mueller was a Republican.
Well, I was about to say, we're about to get to the final words, which we get into the hazard and the analysis. But all right, last word real quick.
Hey, you know what? I'll like this be my last words because I really like that. I'm pointing out a contradiction in what you're doing here, Phil. And I love you, brother. Absolutely. Here's the contradiction. You are both belittling and acknowledging and relying on the justice system in your argument. So you are belittling it by talking
I'm
about...
I'm allowed to do that, actually.
Hold on, dog.
Doesn't matter, though. I'm allowed to belittle and rely on something.
No, you can't selectively do that. You can't selectively belittle it.
You can think a high point sucks and still carry it.
You can't talk about bullshit, trumped up charges, and everything about the legal system that goes into this is bullshit, except for the decision.
Everybody makes do with shoddy equipment. Our justice system isn't perfect, but it's all we got.
That's a shitty contradiction.
No, and it's one we all have to live with every single day, whether we like it or not.
No, it's a contradiction in what you're saying. Either you.
No, it's a contradiction in reality. I'm sorry.
It's a contradiction in your argument, sir.
No, sorry.
Before the
sometimes
closing,
reality can have some contradictions.
Before the closing, I just want to point something out.
All right, what's your hazard and what's the analysis?
Before that, real quick, Parallax. I just want to point out what Parallax is doing. He's putting on cowboy country face, and I'm highly offended. And this should not stand.
Cowboy country face. Yo, I do it digitally sometimes too, and that's the worst one. when I Google country singer being sad as my GIF. I get accused of that shit all the time.
Wait, Phil, can you tell me what this hazard and analysis thing is so I can...
Okay, what do you think is the hazard from this topic going forward? And just the analysis is kind of your last, just putting a cherry on it, your final words, your final thoughts.
Okay.
So what's the hazard and what's the analysis? So what do you think's the problems going forward and final words?
I would say the hazard is that the first indictment was the weakest. I would much rather have heard from Georgia or from the feds, but the feds take a long time. So really, I was hoping to hear from Georgia because it takes a long time to get a federal indictment through, and that's the hazard. So, and here's my analysis. I just wanted to point out something from like way earlier in the segment when you talked about statute of limitations, because I just wanted to point out that in New York, the clock runs on the statute of limitations when you're in state. So for the period of time that you're out of state, say at Mar-a-Lago or at the White House, then nothing, like the clock does not run. And it's a 2-year clock if it's a misdemeanor, and it's a 5-year clock if it's a felony. So if he has run it up to a felony, Trump will have had to have been in New York for 5 years since the commission of that crime. And it hasn't been, I don't even think, 2 years when you start and stop the clock the way New York law requires.
Well, we shall see, folks. I think ultimately a judge is going to have no choice but to throw that out. But so that's the hazard. Final words on this, or was that also your final word?
Yeah. No, the hazard was that the weakest case came first, and my bit of analysis was the statute of limitations thing.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Osiris. What do you think is the hazard going forward, and what is your final analysis?
So to reiterate, and I'm also going to agree with Rich on this one. To reiterate what I was saying earlier, I think the hazard is to bring charges that really don't matter. Like if this was some Joe Schmo off the street doing some bullshit, okay, maybe. But if you're gonna charge the former president of the United States, you better have some real fucking charges. This is waving your dick in the wind. This is retarded. It doesn't make any sense. It's dumb. And indictments clearly don't matter. Nobody cares about this stuff. This is a thing that nobody actually cares about. If they're gonna bring something, they need to bring whatever is tied into the denial of the election charges, if they have any evidence of that. And if they don't have any evidence of that, let it die. Let's be done with this and move forward. I know this is a lot to be hope for, but I would hope that by moving forward, somebody has to be above the fray, be above the BS, and say, oh, we're not going to retaliate because you retaliated, because that's what we've been doing for the last 10 to 20 years now.
Pretty much since Bork.
We got to stop that. It's getting old. It's getting tiresome, and I think the American public, by voting Donald Trump, has shown that this is not a thing that they really want. That Donald Trump was a vote for we're done with that type of shit, even though it perpetuated more of that type of shit in some ways. So hopefully we can be done with that and move forward and get past this point.
All right. Now, Parallax. Going forward, sir, what do you see as the hazard, and what is your final analysis?
So I think the hazard is that we have now created a world where, whether it be true or not, people are perceiving that law enforcement is now a political tool. Some of that has been done through the actions of law enforcement, and I would say that there were signs of it prior to this, but really I think the big turning point was Comey, whether intentional or not. And I think that obviously the rhetorical war that Trump has waged with the media and law enforcement has obviously also had a deleterious effect on our interactions with law enforcement and how we perceive them. And now you have a charge that may or may not be politically driven, and we really can't differentiate anymore. And that is the hazard, is that going forward, we may or may not have law enforcement weaponized politically, but we will have rhetorical arguments that is what's happening. And that's not good. That's very bad. We need to be able to believe that our law enforcement systems are serving us. We need to be able to believe that if they are bringing charges to a man who was our former president, that they are real charges and that there are real reasons to do so. And it's just deleterious to the trust of the entire justice system. Closing thoughts are that, I don't think we're going to see this man in cuffs. It feels right. If we see this man in cuffs, that imagery is powerful. That's powerful imagery. He better only be in cuffs if they know he's going to fucking jail. It's that simple. You put him in cuffs and he's not going to jail.
He's not going to jail, no matter what. At worst, it'll be house arrest.
So you cannot put him in cuffs. You just can't. Well, okay.
Secret Service can't follow him into prison. Like it's not possible.
Like he could be convicted. Yeah. No, I feel you, but I'm saying like they cannot put him in cuffs if he is not going to be convicted. Period. Has to be slam dunk done.
New York won't do it. They don't want that imagery.
Right.
Like that would be counting your eggs before they're hatched.
Now, Tony G, with this whole thing, you're a guy, you're pretty moderate normie. When we took the political compass test, you were literally right on the goddamn line between left and right. I love you dearly, but your politics always infuriate me. But you've always been
I'm just more right than you, and I don't mean on the conservative.
Well, no, actually, I'm more right than you, literally.
Literally
correct.
Right,
yes, literally to the right. I am sorry. You got to give that to me. Yeah. But I've always given your analysis some pretty heavy weight on certain things because you're kind of like a view into the everyman. So what, in your opinion, is the hazard, and what is your final analysis on this team?
Well, the double hazard, for starters, like you were saying, this is going to become the new norm. If we're going to double impeach presidents and they continue to not officially impeach them after they leave office, regardless of how many terms they've served, we're just going to make the office look that much less intriguing. It's going to start inviting even less than ideal people into the position, because it's going to be people that don't care about their image. That's my big fear. Not that, a lot of the people that we've had in the office recently are really that wholesome anyway, but I look at it the same way I'm looking at law enforcement. Why would anybody want that job right now? And you look at the job of president, like, why would anybody want that job right now? Because it's a thankless position. And we're proving that with impeachments and indictments. And just imagine what's going to happen to Biden, if he's still kicking by the time he's out of office. But the other hazard is, like I said, if we're going to make this a battle of votes, right? It's not going to be like 2020. We're going to look at this election coming up like, okay, if we have to get to a certain number of votes, like you said, Phil, how many did you say if Biden can't get 80 million, he can't win?
If he can't crack 80 million, I don't think he wins again.
Well, I don't think he's going to crack 80 million for starters, regardless if he wins or not, because we're not going to see the turnout in the mailing. It's just not going to happen this way again. So I'm afraid that it's going to appeal less and less and less and less to the American people to go out and vote. Like we saw record voting numbers in 2020 for one reason or another, be it the candidates, be it the means of voting. I think we're making the idea of voting look less and less appealing to the American voter because we're pulling back the curtain that it's all bullshit. It's all theatrics. This is all just political narrative. And I think the general American person, the general American voter, is wising up to that. They're wising up to the idea that what they're being told on news channels, whether it be Fox or CNN, is all rhetorical bullshit. And I think that you're going to start seeing people get less and less intrigued, and they're going to have to sell pretty hard to get people to turn out. And Trump can do that. Trump can do that tenfold. We've seen it. Can he do it again? I absolutely do think he can. And I think this could be the ball rolling down the hill. This could be the snowball building until he eventually takes it back. But there's a lot of time between then and now. So my analysis, I really think that if they keep spinning the narrative the way that they're spinning it right now, you're going to make politics even less intriguing to the general person than they already might be. And I do have to chug. I apologize before the hour is over.
Nice. Now
bring in Justin.
Bring him in for the Ziggy Zoggies. Ziggy Zoggy. Oi, oi, oi.
Oi, oi, oi.
I just had that one last thought, Phil.
Oh,
I just want
to wait, what are you drinking? What is that?
Production, and I knew how that was supposed to go. I'm with you.
Okay. I thought that was Jen or something. I was like, holy shit.
God. My hazarded analysis, Rich, go real quick. said you just want to have one last thought?
No, it was the one that you have on screen right now.
Oh, okay. Could we might be getting there, but folks, so the hazard that we now have is we are getting into the Banana Republic territories of now we have people going after and indicting and raiding the homes of their political opposition. And that's the kind of shit that could actually bring down the Republic, because something that Parallax said, very, very intelligent thing, which sadly on the right is now just seen as reality, whether you agree, like that law enforcement is politicized at the highest levels. And like that is, whether we like it or not, that is going to be the divide going forward, is do you have trust in the systems anymore? And with each passing day, you get more and more people that are dropping off from that little trust circle. And so that is the big hazard going forward, is are we going to have the big systems and all the experts and everything that we're supposed to trust in become political? And that's why I said a couple of weeks ago, and Rich kind of agreed with me at least halfway, where I think we need to have, much like the separation of church and state was one of the greatest things that happened in the West, we need to also come to a separation of science and politics. If we can't do that, our species will not survive. And that's just one example of the hazard going forward, is if we allow politics to get into our law enforcement, our science, our institutions like they have, I don't think the species is going to make it. And the analysis going forward, folks, is strap in, folks. We're in the Trump timeline right now. If a traveler were to come in from another universe, which timeline am I in? You say, you're in the Trump timeline. Oh, okay. And then they would know where to go from there. So folks love him.
Fuck out of here. Another timeline.
I get, you might not like that, but here's the thing. The final analysis is Democrats maybe don't be so afraid of democracy, and maybe just let a guy that's fairly popular run for office. And now that is the final word on this particular topic. Justin, what do we got you here for, sir?
We're taking shots.
Oh, okay. Shot.
Cheers, Justin. Clink.
Everybody, nice.
Hey, I wanted to.
I propose this as a political party. We need the shots party. Then maybe everybody be more chill. You know
Okay.
Absolutely.
I got to take my shot. My shot is back at my man Texas here. I actually live. Listen, bro, I got a literal football field in my front yard and my backyard.
Yeah.
I'm a fat motherfucker, and part of the reason I've lost 120 pounds is because when I moved here, I bought land where a quarter acre of it is at like a 47-degree angle, and my big fat ass has to mow that motherfucker and then rake it.
So you want to buy?
Listen, I'm country as fuck. Now listen, I don't like it, I don't want to be, and I don't vote like it, but I do like me. I want me to have a pistol. Yeah. I will say that much. I'm just saying. I feel like I should be able to go to my gay friend's wedding very stoned, strapped up.
Here.
Wrong with that. Yeah,
now, all right, gentlemen.
Hey, listen,
gentlemen.
I just want to celebrate that Phil said in his last speech that America is a democracy, or should be, which I don't hear that from conservatives a lot.
Well, we're getting at the end of our republic if this shit goes much farther. So
you said banana.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
many times.
But you said democracy.
I just wanted a smoothie.
Well, yeah, we do have democratic institutions in America, but just like it's kind of funny. Like some people say that, oh, it's bad because it's anti-democratic. Not necessarily. A constitution is anti-democratic. It restricts what the majority can do. So just because something's
anti-democratic, but you're not taking back your statement that democracy is a threat. Like if we're not a democracy, then democracy can't be at threat. Right? Like either we're at risk of losing our democracy or we never were a democracy, but we can't.
No, I just said we do have democratic aspects of our country. We're supposed to be a constitutional republic that does our elections through democracy. So there are instances where it's good, but we do also have to keep in mind that the will of the majority does not always get sway.
Yeah, the biggest party that the founders created was the Democratic Republicans. So they were absolutely democratic in the way that they designed the republic. Yeah.
Yes. So, all right. Now I've been tried 3 times, and I'm gonna do this. God damn it! All right.
Be right back.
So, I do remember that, Tony. I do. Remember.
You do.
Now, we've got another guest coming on this evening, folks, to go with our Tonight Show presentation. And I do apologize. I thought a few more people were going to be a little more late than they were. But everybody was so punctual because they wanted to be right here at Hazard Analysis on this amazing show. But we've got another guest for you folks. And we got a new topic that we're going to get into. It's one that we were planning on being the main topic tonight. But, well, things happen. And also, it's a new hour, folks. Hand out them shots. Bring them, motherfuckers. Now we got joining us.
Take a shot.
God damn it, Tony.
You asked for it.
Damn it.
Look, so Phil, I take my shots out of a Kia cup because I'm a filthy liberal and I support capitalism.
Nice. Well done. Speaking of which.
Actually, it's because you have shitty taste in vehicles.
Also true.
Damn.
Also true.
God damn. Sorry, I tried. Jack, welcome to the show. Jesus Christ.
And as a Detroiter, I have to agree. You have shitty taste in vehicles.
Am I looking into the multi?
No.
Are you wearing a Ushanka right now?
Let me defend myself.
Yes, you are, but I will fix that.
Take your
I have shitty taste in
Ushanka
cups.
off.
First of all, Chevy is the only real car you
right
buy.
now.
Chevy
I
is
cannot
the only real
ignore
car
that you're wearing a Ushanka. My wife is a Ukraine expert. Take the fucking Ushanka off. I'll kill you. In Roblox.
In a video game, hopefully? Yeah, I was about to say. Actually, there was a case where a girl actually got convicted, even though she said in a video game. So, we'll see. We'll see how far that
can. Thank God I'm not a girl.
Yeah, that's it.
The law favors me. We know it. We're good. I'm a white man.
So, we unfortunately have to go from the northeast district of Manhattan, and we now have to take a little short trip south to a place where a lot of prayers are needed right now, a city called Nashville, Tennessee. So yes, the Nashville shooting. This one it's been shocking to see the response to this because
on both sides,
everybody has been making some really weird declarations. Now, I will say the one thing that can be said for this is, hey, Uvalde police officers, maybe you should send your cowboy hats to Nashville because that's how it's actually done, okay? That's how some men with actual balls between their legs actually act when they're actually called upon. They're not just going to stand around and wait to collect their pensions. So yeah, I'm sorry, so that is one thing that does need to be pointed out. I wish nobody had to be hurt in the commission of this, but we learned a few things from that. And now it can't be ignored, though, is the political fallout that's come from this. I read a tweet this morning, which I thought was a little hyperbolic, but it kind of demonstrates, for the first time, I'm seeing members of the media trying to actually defend a mass shooter. And it's very strange that we're having this, and not necessarily people in the media, but people who are tweeting and people I've been on panels with who are talking about pretty crazy shit. And so the folks on the left are getting offended if you misgender somebody who has surrendered their humanity entirely, which to me, I think is very tone deaf. And the folks on the right are trying to make some sort of political hay out of this. I get the feeling. I haven't seen anything too big yet. I'm keeping my ear to the memosphere. The biggest right-wing meme I've seen is, the pronouns were. That's the biggest one that I've seen from the right, and I haven't really seen it.
Well, I was gonna say it, and I'm on the left.
That one's funny.
Fuck that person.
Yeah, because to me, I don't know if we should really bend over backwards trying to respect the preferred pronouns of someone that has surrendered their humanity entirely.
I don't know. Is this open? Or are we doing intros?
Right.
Okay.
Bravo.
Right. Okay. So I don't know about. I've seen some disgusting memes on both left and right on that, but that's Twitter. I don't even give that. I mean, I just expect that for everything, including every shooting. I did see one sort of like for instance, the New York Post has a policy of using not using the preferred pronouns for any trans person. So in their article, they were both in the introduction trying to like play up that this person was transgender, but then was still saying like using she her pronouns to refer to the killer as if the killer was cis. And so the entirety of the article made it seem as if the killer was cis, and I don't think that's the point that they were trying to make. So they kind of they sort of like made two contradictory points at once, and it sort of flipped everything they were trying to do, which I thought was interesting to see in an article. But I think I'm still not entirely sure like who or what this person is. I don't even know because like every reference to this person uses Audrey Hale. If this person was actually trans or had transitioned, that would be a dead name, and they would have some other name. And I haven't heard a male name.
All of their names are dead names.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. Like I still to this day,
it's a well put together joke, but man, it's a little soon.
Yeah. No, I none of that. I mean, like this person deserves like all the.
No, I meant jokes. That person, that one person.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about everybody. Okay.
No,
I got
each of the names that person has held is their dead name.
Waka Waka.
Now I understand your interpretation, and goddamn.
But apparently, it's only been one name. So yeah, I know that there have been some like online profiles that said he, him. Don't know how much of that was serious or how much of that was trolling. But this person like never changed the name. Like continued to be called Audrey like to the last day, as far as I know.
Well, actually, producer, if you could pull up that, I don't want to cut anybody off, but there are some things.
No. If there's another name, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
I don't mind being told.
This person also went by the name Aiden. There was a message between the shooter and somebody else, an acquaintance, maybe a friend. I don't know. Let me zoom in on my screen here real quick. So this is the Hill. Yeah, here we go. This is a conversation that was sent out roughly a half an hour, I believe. I could be wrong.
Oh, so it was a last minute transition, like right before the shooting.
Yeah, this was if you can see here. God, there was another screen I wish we had. Okay, yeah, right here at the bottom left.
Oh, Audrey Aiden in parentheses. Now that's interesting.
Yeah. See, they this person was, I guess, still identifying by both names, regardless of how you want to look at it. When they entered the
but I hadn't seen this. I'm glad you pointed that out because I hadn't.
And this was confirmed because when we saw we saw this first the day of the shooting, and we were like,
worthy of note that the name at the top is also Aiden, which is the official profile name.
Right. And yeah, we saw this the day of. And we're like, I don't know. This seems a little quick on the nose, a little quick to be released. But today I did see an article. I think it was from the Hill that did confirm that this conversation actually did happen. They talked to the person that spoke to they called the suicide hotline, but this was sent out very, very briefly before Audrey Aiden went into the school. So regardless of a response, it wouldn't have been in a timely manner, no matter how they would have responded to that call about, hey, my friend or my acquaintance needs some fucking help. And you can see here by reading through this that it's very, very troubled individual, mental health, very, very poor. But when I read through this specifically, this screams to me being inspired by what we were also seeing on Twitter about the trans. Oh, Jesus. What is the Trans Day of Vengeance? That's what I'm reading into here. And I could be off base, but that's what this screams to me. And Twitter's deleted like thousands and thousands of posts trying to prevent people from seeing this stuff, which ironic that Elon Musk is now censoring things. But the trans, this is coming
he's
from
focused
Newsweek.
On advertisers. I get it.
Yeah. Newsweek says that the organizers of a Trans Day of Vengeance rally in Washington, D.C. at the weekend have vowed to go ahead with the event following the shooting in Nashville. We choose to fight for change. The Trans Radical Activist Network, TRAN, a collection of transgender activist groups, rejected any connection, of course they did, between the event of the mass shooting, which police have said was perpetuated by Audrey Elizabeth Hale, who was transgender. The rally on Saturday is set to begin outside the U.S. Supreme Court and will protest the various bills in numerous states limiting gender-affirming health care. So, to me, they can deny it all they want, but I feel like this person was clearly trans. We understand this. This person was clearly not in the right state of mind. Obviously. Many of them, and it's proven time and time again, but this screams to me somebody who wanted to have an impact.
Yeah, they can deny it all they want, but I bet you there's a manifesto that tweet right there like implies that there is one. So
yeah, that was essentially a suicide note.
Yeah. It also this also brings to mind because this person was also being treated for some apparently pretty severe like mental conditions or whatever, which makes me think, okay, like did the red flag laws, whatever red flag laws we have now under the current system, do they not, are the right databases not connected? Is there a red flag law?
That the parents of the person that's involved here had no idea that this person bought seven guns in the last few weeks. They had no idea.
Seven guns from I think at least 5 different locations in the last few months.
It was 7 guns in 5 locations in the last however many months, and they were hiding it from the parents of the home.
Yeah. Yep.
So
this seems like a case where the red flag laws would have been relevant. Like that discussion seems to be relevant to this.
It's the unfortunate reality is that once in a while, these loonies blow a fucking fuse and then they want to make their pain everybody's pain. And I remember because I was in college when the Virginia Tech shooting happened. And I was having a discussion with some classmates. And I said, like, it's unfortunate, but when you boil it down to its most base, what could have possibly stopped the Virginia Tech shooter other than another armed individual? Because, like, even if we ban all guns, let's say you just make it as draconian as you want. Say, like, in the middle of this conversation, Joe Biden makes it so if you were caught with a gun, it is immediate execution. You will be immediately executed. It's still going to take 150 to 200 years to actually get guns out of American life. There's so many of them there, and there's too many people that are like, fuck you, I ain't turning in shit. And that's going to be by the tens of millions, and those are the people that own like hundreds of guns. And so it's going to take
but I don't think
years, even if you make it as draconian as possible. So gun bans aren't, anybody that proposed that, they're not actually being realistic.
Yeah, there was a politician last week who was asked, or whatever, shortly after this occurred, who was, I think, a state politician from that state, was asked, like, what is the Republican Party going to do about this? And he gave the same answer, except he prefaced that answer with the word nothing. We're going to do nothing. And here's why: because we don't think anything will work. I'm not sure that that's the best solution to this. Like, they had this conversation in Australia. They said, look, we've got a ton of guns in this country. And there's no way you're ever going to be able to stop mass shootings in Australia. Haven't had one since the mass shooting that precipitated like their laws. And I'm not for those laws here because I think in America,
they did have COVID concentration camps too, or not concentration camps, internment camps. There we go.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, if you had COVID, you had to go to a hotel until you stopped having COVID. Yeah.
No, they actually had internment camps.
They weren't internment camps. I mean, that's being a little disingenuous about the.
Well, hold on. Those were hotels, and they were
little makeshift little places where people had to stay in these little behind these lines and were allowed to go to.
They had they zeroed out COVID for like a year and a half there. By the time COVID did make it to the mainland, like, they were vaccinated and ready for it. So yeah, I mean, sure, maybe freedom is worth 1.1 million dead people in North America. Like, I think that it's fair to say that freedom is worth like losing lives. I think we made that decision at the American Revolution that we were willing to give up lives in the name of freedom. But let's not argue that. I
mean, according to the NRA's numbers, guns are used to save lives and used in self-defense for almost 2 million times a year. So,
if you want to play that, one of the reasons I'm pro-gun. It's just why I'm not.
Owners are responsible gun owners until they're not, and pretending like we can predict who is and isn't going to be a responsible gun owner It's just not possible. We can put all the. I'm not even opposed to background checks. I think that'd be great. I think a waiting period to make sure the people who want to go out and do something like this go buy a gun, make at least the
Normie
to make you think that's fine.
Yeah. No, here,
Jack, get in here. You've been patient.
No. Take it from the most. Take it for the most extreme person here on the left that is also pro-gun. Background checks, registration. And before anybody goes, oh, registration means they're going to come for your guns. No, the same fucking problem is that no, they won't is the issue. It's an argument. Shut up.
Well, no, I'm sorry. No, you don't get to tell me shut up on my show. They can.
Get my point out before you.
All right, I'll give you 15 more seconds before I.
I'll be right back.
No. The thing is in most of the countries that still have high per capita gun ownership and regulation, like registration, they don't actually come and take the guns. I'll point to Switzerland, where they actually have mandatory gun ownership and actually fucking have registration. Nobody comes and takes their guns
unless you violate the law, and then they come and take the guns.
Which, if you violate the law, guess what?
So
you lose your right to, hold on.
Yeah, so guess what? That's the whole point of the fucking registration is they can come and take them when they want to.
Guess what? They know where you live anyways, and if you've committed a crime and you've gotten out of jail, they have your address, and they can come and take the guns anyways. That doesn't fucking change this metric, because what your argument would
you know how many Billy Bobs have guns buried out in the yard and shit? Like, yeah, that's
and they're all insane.
That ain't gonna fly around here.
And like I said, they're all insane if they're doing that. That's beside the point. This would not actually apply. Anybody who's burying guns in their backyard, yes. Same with people.
So they don't get taken from them. Sounds like something like yes, pick one gun that you don't like all that much and bury it somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. And guess what? Nobody can ever take it from you.
No matter what blanket assertion you throw over this, they're still nuts. They're burying guns in the background.
No, they're not.
Fucking squirrels.
It's just a prepper.
They're fucking morons.
You know the military buries guns and ammo.
I haven't said much
because it's actually a pretty good idea.
Yes, I want to. You told me to get in here, and you keep sitting here interrupting the points before they can be finished because you understand that I actually know what the fuck I'm talking about on it, and I'm pro-gun. So why don't you actually let me say what the fuck you brought me in here to say? That's the thing. No, this won't equal this because in Switzerland, committing a crime does lose you your right to firearms. With the recent SCOTUS ruling, that would not be the case here, because felons have their right to have their guns back now, according to the most recent SCOTUS ruling. It just has to be rolled out to the rest of the 50 states. It has to be rolled out. It's not fully enacted yet, but based on that ruling, that's what will happen. And that's what I'm getting at. So based here, the committing a crime doesn't mean they come and take your guns. Furthermore, as you pointed out, there's 650 million guns in America. When you factor in the percentage of people who have actually freaking own guns in America, that roughly equates out to 6.8 guns per gun owner. So it's one of those interesting things of the people that are going to have to come and take the guns are also going to be the ones that are going to be absolutely repelled by the idea of going to take the guns. So no politician in their right mind is going to give that order, because if you add up every police officer, every federal officer, every fucking, a military member who is active, reserve, or reactivatable, they are still outnumbered 15-1, and nobody wants to start a civil war over let's go take the guns, even the most advocate gun grabbers, because they're not insane. They want to use it as rhetoric.
We have one who's not in his right state of mind in the White House.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're not going to.
Oh, got him. It was a Sleepy Joe joke, in case you missed it.
I got it. But no, the thing is he's not going to do it, because the simple thing is he knows that the orders he's going to be giving them to, the people he's going to be giving those orders to, will not be wanting to give those or follow those orders. So why the hell is he going to give something that's automatically going to fracture his government?
He's not
actually. I want to say something.
I
want to say something in response here, real quick.
The AR-15.
And I agree that's bullshit. No, and I agree that's bullshit. Yeah. As a pro-gun guy, AR-15 is responsible for 0.2% of all gun crimes in North America. 0.2%.
Wait, did this person have an AR-15?
0.2%, less than
the
1%.
shooter had a sub 2000, which was a 9mm. It's a Caltech. I have it. It's the same magazine.
Nothing special.
Glock 19, Glock 17.
Okay.
They had a pistol. They didn't say what kind of pistol, and they did have an AR. And I don't know which rifle was used. I don't believe the pistol was used in any of the shooting, but
no, you could hear it. It was definitely something bigger than the pistol.
I assume.
But even if it was the AR, we don't even know if it's the quote unquote AR because unfortunately, fucking news is absolutely horrible at identifying weapons. Hence why when somebody used a Mini 14, they called it a hunting rifle. Why? Because it had a wood stock. I'm like, really? This is a hunting rifle. This is a gun I can use to plink people from 1,000 meters. Please tell me how this is a normal hunting rifle.
Now, this is something I remember I said at one time to Aiko and to Jack, and I'm curious, Tony and Osiris, this is gonna.
Here we go. He had the easy 9. Okay, that's what Trey just said.
Oh shit, he's gonna. Oh, Tony G, the one human being to be able to exist without a working liver. Well done.
Who needs it?
The original G of drinking. I like it.
But this is something like when I say it at first, like I've noticed like right wingers, when I say it, like they pause for a second before they agree with it. But like, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, because when you think about it, in America, it's actually politically correct to be pro-gun.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's actually like even on even folks on the left are kind of like, okay, I don't like guns, but like
no, because the thing is the NRA rhetoric about the gun grabbers that they have been pushing since the 60s is bullshit. We're talking about a hyper minority of the left that is like 1 to 2% that don't ever have any actual political power in the first fucking place.
Except for California, right?
No, because you can still own guns in California. They restrict it, but you still own guns. That's what I'm getting at. They're not actually.
Well, yeah, that's infringing on your Second Amendment right, because that's like saying no, absolutely. That's like saying if like New York were to ban and restrict, you can no longer say 500 words or phrases within the state of New York, but you can still technically speak in the state of New York. So we haven't infringed on your First Amendment in any way. We would all recognize that as being something very wrong, and your First Amendment rights being infringed. The exact same thing is happening in California.
So I'm not one of these.
Californians are having their Second Amendment rights infringed upon, and luckily Clarence Thomas is setting it right. Well, no, actually, I was talking there, so I know you don't like it when I'm spitting the truth. Luckily, Clarence Thomas has set it all right. He
interrupts me midpoint, and then he thinks that it's interrupting to push back on it. Try again, Phil. I know it's your show, but you interrupted me while I was in the middle of saying something. And
no, I was still talking, and then you were like, yeah. Like, I get it. You don't like the truth that I spit here, Canadar. You just can't take it, and your evil commie ways got to try and put a cloud on this shine. But no, you're just not going to be able to do it here at Hazard Analysis. So, but now here's
don't let me bring out the Satanism, Phil. I'm going to need you to behave.
Oh, Jesus God Almighty. Please don't.
No, Satan in hell. Don't you tell me.
Don't you tell. Now, the biggest question is, because I prefaced, like, even if you wanted the most draconian gun bans, you're really not going to get anywhere in at least our lifetimes to the point where it's going to matter. So, like, I do ask this question is, what would be something to recommend to try and alleviate this very real problem? And like the folks on the right, they really like the have somebody armed on the school grounds. Now, the problem is you need somebody that's going to be Nashville response, not Uvalde or that one place I think in Florida where the guy just stood outside the door. You need to have those, not those responses.
Well,
so that's
the answer.
Tony,
let's hear a question, or here, and if I may, real quick, because your answer won't be deterred by this. The other problem is what do you do when one of those guys is the one that goes, "I'm fucking crazy. I want to shoot one of these places up."
Okay, the idea that we can't have security because people aren't perfect, I don't think is really a valid answer. I get what you're saying, but like I just don't think that's a valid answer.
I think we'd still see a significant drop in shootings. Yeah, that's the goal. Wait. I don't want to reduce the number. You can't make the number 0.
I don't think that's true. But I will say this. According to 538 Politics, the Republican. So there's been a surplus of money in the last year for Republican and Democratic states. And the one thing they do agree on, as they're spending money, is that red flag laws are good. Gun control is good. Red and blue states do agree on this. So I don't think there's a divide as much as people think there's a divide on this. An idea between conservatives and liberals, and I think that within itself is kind of a false flag. That, and I don't know that we can stop this thing, right? That's like saying, how do we stop gang problems? I think if you're going to have guns, there's going to be
criminalize drugs.
There's a certain level of risk that we're going to have to take. And school shootings, and I know I'm going to sound like an asshole for saying this. School shootings is the lowest on the list for the amount of killings that are happening in the United States per year. Absolutely. There's a whole lot of things happening. For school shootings, there's a lot of other shootings that are happening. What I think what the issue is mind frame. So there's there's probably a couple things, right? Like you have people who are just kind of batshit crazy, and they're gonna do what they're gonna do. You can't stop those people. It's just not just no way possible as long as you have guns readily available to citizens, and that's what we decided that we're gonna have. You can't stop that thing. And then on the other hand is how do we deter people from doing like the normies from doing like crazy shit. Most of the normies do their crazy shit in their home. This is why domestic violence is so high, right? If we're gonna have guns, we have to accept the fact that we're gonna have gun killings. That's just what it is. I think that's where I'm at in this discussion. Is if you're gonna have guns, you're gonna have to understand that you're gonna have gun killings. And as bad as it sounds, and I know this optically sounds bad, you have to accept that there's going to be a certain level of public killings, whether it be in public areas, schools, malls, wherever. There's going to be shootings. Can we ramp up those securities? Sure, but should you overdo it by saying like let's just arm the normies? I don't know that to me has not been proven to be true yet. And if it's proven to be true, I'm on board for it. But it hasn't been proven to be true.
I think the way to reduce the number, because you're never going to, like you just said, we're never going to get to zero. We have guns. Bad things are going to happen with guns. That's just the reality. We have cars. There's going to be automobile deaths. That's just the reality. The way we, like Phil was saying, an armed guard, like you take veterans instead of letting them sit there homeless. Like we treat our veterans like shit. That's a great position for potential veterans who have nothing else to come back to. That's a great position for somebody like that. And they'd be happy to take it. But you're never going to get that number to zero. It's just not going to happen. You know what? Another way, I'm saying this as a joke, but there is a grain of truth. Legalize prostitution, because God damn it, if some of these people weren't fucking stressed out all the goddamn time, maybe they wouldn't do crazy shit. You know how to relieve some stress? Well, I'm just saying. We can drink booze. We're legalizing pot, but we still can't go buy a hooker. What the fuck? Come on. Tell me that's not an American way. Come on.
Hey, I'm with it.
I support this message.
If your chat wants to make me drink, they now can. I've just made myself a drink, gentlemen.
Drink.
There you go.
Chat, motherfucker, but...
Oh, sorry. Justin, you're the producer. Say it in the chat.
All right. Got me. No, I already drank. You're all right.
Whew. Oh, my God. I just want to address some of the comments real quick between... Oh, sorry. Justin, go ahead.
I was just going to say he can drink.
Oh, there it is. All right.
Son of a bitch.
I wanted to address the back and forth on the YouTube chat between Project Sadface and Jesse West. Project Sadface says, I unsubbed the Tomfoolery show. What did Tom do? Said the AR ban in the 90s work. Did it, though? Tom said his topic about Destiny was more important than
Jesus.
We gotta have Tom on. We gotta have Tom
No, because we can't have him on Twitch because he says shit like that.
God
Almighty.
Can't wait.
God Almighty. Now, it's Jacanadar. You seem to have kind of like a cringe face when we were bringing some solutions here. I'm curious, what is like? I know. Here's the problem. none of us are going to have this. Let me just wave my wand and it's all going to be better now. Because that's
just military individuals for
Australia waved the wand.
Are really not the way you want to go. Even most returning combat veterans would tell you the same. They do not have the right mindset to be around children in that type of capacity. I'm not saying that security isn't a way to go. I'm actually not opposed to it. Some of the people that I actually attribute to preventing quite a few problems in my school were SROs, etc. But these are people who are specifically trained to deal with these situations, specifically trained to deal with children, etc. So, I mean, there's more to it than that.
Can I give an answer to that question? Given that I
want to get you in, and maybe Rich, you'll touch on this part too in your answer. Do we know anything about this officer that who led that video footage into infiltrating that school and taking out the shooter at that point? Because he seemed very highly trained. He knew what the fuck he was doing.
Yo, the one. Did you see the video of the one that was second behind him, like holding on to him, telling him breach, go, go? Like that dude. That dude.
The whole team knew what the fuck they were doing.
That dude could adopt me right now. That's my dad.
They all thought about how they would handle it a million times since Uvalde. Like you can't say that.
I'm curious. Do we know anything about these people? Because there's a lot of pushback against the idea that we don't need SWAT, so we don't need highly trained individuals, et cetera, et cetera. We're militarizing this. In this case, it seems that they had I don't know this guy. This is why I'm asking. It seemed like that he was a highly trained individual. He's been in this situation before, and he knew how to execute, and he didn't hesitate, and he knew what he was doing. This is why I'm asking. Do we know anything about this? And does this justify any of the things that were pushed back before?
I haven't heard anything about that officer in particular, but I've known many SROs. Like I've worked in schools for 35 years. There have been times where I had to work closely with SROs. I was in a school shooting, and I had to guard one of the entrances while it was happening. When I say guard, my job was to look through a glass door, and if somebody was coming, like go tell somebody. Like my job wasn't to like do any combat or anything like that. But I was in one of those situations, and so I had many conversations with SROs over the years, and specifically like after that incident at my school, and at the school that I was working at the time, and I can tell you that for me, like in the present situation, whatever other solutions I'm in favor of, red flag laws, top of the list. One of them is I want more SROs in schools. We had one, and then we had like multiple security officers who were not armed that are just, like, the type, like,
That would be called recon security in security parlance.
Yeah, people who are not cops but handle kids and stuff like that. I would like to have 3 actual SROs armed at all times on any campus that I work in. That's what
depending on the size of the campus, yes. If you, for example, the school I went to, my graduating class was 2,000 kids. Yeah, you need SROs, a lot of SROs for that. But I now live in a town of 22,000 where the average school size is about 500. 2 SROs would be more than enough for the size of that school.
Yeah, that school that I was at during the shooting was a school of 2,000. So I would like to have had 3 SROs posted at different ends of the school, 2 of which were, on active duty at any given time, like, and then while the 3rd was on break or something like that. That's what I would like. But also, I was lucky in that we were one of those weird experimental schools where you have to like win the lottery to get to go there in that district, because you got to like you got to have a specialty in that school. And so the purpose of that school was to give you job skills so that you could get a job like straight out of school. So for instance, if you were a medical specialist, then you got to graduate high school as and be an EMT straight away or straight out of high school, for instance. And one of the specialties that you could get was law enforcement. And so as a result, we had 3 to 5 teachers who were former cops and who like they would actually many of them were like would just teach for a couple of years and then go off and go be a cop again. So they were not like a cop 30 years ago, but very actively recently cops. And so I felt much better having those people on campus, and they were allowed to bring their guns in because they were still like certified as cops or whatever. So I think instead of having like a vet come in, which I take Jack's point, and I think I've had multiple friends who are vets who had like various issues as well. I wouldn't be comfortable with just any old vet like being able to just come in with a gun.
It would have to be somebody like I'm like, and I understand Jack's point. It's not like a 1-for-1 thing. Like there are some folks that it would be a perfect job for.
Yeah,
there's some folks there
qualified vets, right? Yeah, I think that was implicit
because like there's one that I always think of like because this just take me just a few seconds. In my elementary school, our gym teacher was a guy who I won't say his name. He's still kicking, actually. He's still alive. He was a Marine Corps drill instructor during the Korean War. And like that's one motherfucker that I would probably trust.
Illegal meth.
Well, like that's one guy that I would trust to have 1911 hanging on his side for such an issue. But not every teacher I would. But like, and so it's one of those things like there isn't going to be a one size fits all because there's all these small schools. But Parallax, I cut you off there, sir. And we got a big guest coming.
There's a couple of things. First of all, the fellow who's been typing in chat, what's his name here? He said something really important here. It's not entirely about head count. It's about points of ingress and egress. So my graduating class was only 397, which was large. But we had probably 5 entrances on the ground level and 2 on the second level. Now, most of them were locked most of the time. But if you were coming in armed, I don't think you give a fuck about locks, right? So I think when you're talking about points of ingress and egress, I think that's a really relevant thing to think about in terms of like operational security. But in terms of prescriptive things, I don't think we have to go so far as to just ban guns or take guns away. I think Australia, we could take parts of what they did, not do the whole thing. So why not offer every year a tax incentive to turn in some of your guns, one of your guns, each gun you turn in, whatever the situation is. And then you can do it of your own volition. And we can disincentivize owning them instead of banning them. I think there's middle ground here.
Interesting. Like somebody like me, like I don't think it as a necessary good that we should want to disincentivize owning a firearm. Cause like to me, like I believe rights are the necessary conditions of one's proper existence. And it is a necessary condition of yours, mine, anybody else's proper existence to be able to repel threats to themselves and their loved ones. And so to me, like, I think that's a just necessary piece of equipment in a modern world. Now, oh shit. Hang on here. There we go. Now, gentlemen, I don't know, repeal the NFA. Based chicken. Based. How we doing this evening? Oh, my screen's going crazy. All right, now I'm back to regular. Gentlemen, we have a very special guest coming on that wants to weigh in on this of all topics. I was curious of it. But we have with us the current Scrotus, the current occupant of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, folks. We have, yes, Joseph R. Biden. Joe, welcome. Welcome. How are we doing, Joe? Joe, what do you have there? What? No, Joe, not ice cream. No, Joe, no, don't, Joe, don't eat the ice cream. What the fuck?
Joe, Joe, we're live. We're live, Joe.
If only your co-host were here to see this moment.
I know. If only Tony could see it.
Look, I've been a politician for 90 years. The only thing I know is Ray-Bans and ice cream. Okay, that's a real quote.
Man, the president suddenly has a very strange accent.
I'd like to hear you
Why do
better,
you like Bill Clinton?
Jesus Christ. So
I'm here in the flesh talking to you.
Yeah, I was about to say that there,
Billy
Joe.
Bob Thornton.
You're starting to sound a bit like Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton had a love child. Go back to your Delaware accent.
I could see that, actually. I could see Joe being that love child. Yeah, sorry. I mean,
so, Joe, what's your prospects for the 2024 election? Are you going to run? Because you're going to be like 130,000 years old. What do you think about that?
Bro, he is going to walk. He ain't running for shit.
100% going to ban it. You're never going to see it again. Going to take it. We're going to melt it down. We're going to turn it into I don't know, jungle gyms and stuff.
What the fuck I meant, but okay.
Just sounds sleepy. Stop with the accent, dog.
I'm sorry. What did you just say to me?
I'm talking to Hank Hill, not Joe Biden. What the fuck?
Hey, look.
Get me a beer, Joe.
Joe knows how to pander to the Southerners. It's just like Obama. Even though he was born in Hawaii, raised internationally, and spent the majority of his life in Chicago, Illinois, he still speaks with a slight Southern accent. That is called pandering,
I'm the most
folks.
popular president in history doesn't mean I know about propane and propane accessories.
Now that matches a lot more.
Propane.
I also don't have an ass, just like Hank Hill. So Hunter couldn't snort coke off of it.
Yes, you do, Joe. His name is Hunter.
No, he's just coke off. It's nice and flat. It'd be a good surface.
Joe, your beloved son Hunter, he makes you proud every day, doesn't he?
Oh, did you see today? Or it was one of the days. It ended in a Y. There was a picture on the thing with the screen and the numbers, the letters.
The internet.
Yeah, but you know the thing. He had a picture of one
on
of the
his
Obama's
laptop he left in that shop.
He found one of the Obama's credit cards. I'm sure he returned it. That was so nice of him. What a great guy.
I'm sure he didn't chalk nothing up with it.
What do you have to say from the detractors that say that you're a little delusional, you're getting old, and you like to lick, young people's hair? What do you think? What do you say about that?
Look, however I treat COVID, that's my business. Look, we're all triple vaxxed, triple boosted. Look, I'm just saying, I'm taking extra precautions.
Fair enough. So while you're licking these kids' hair, are you wearing your mask?
Well, look. Who are we to say?
He's clearly wearing a mask.
You've never sniffed or licked a kid? Come on.
Most of us can say no.
Absolutely not.
I disavow. Hold on. I just need to make this very clear.
That he disavows.
No, never.
Nada. Zippo and zilch.
That sounded less clear.
So how do you expect to pull the Southern vote this time around?
I'm doing the fucking accent, aren't I? Isn't that enough?
Yeah, I think that's it.
I got that one from Obama. He taught me how.
All right.
My man's favorite restaurant is Panda Express. Listen to him.
Damn right. It's not even
Are you
a bear.
going to put hot sauce in your purse too? You can put hot sauce in your purse too?
Panda, it's more like a marsupial.
Put some hot sauce in your purse, Hillary.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
What,
I'm trying to help you get the Southern vote and the black vote.
Oh,
I got hot sauce in your purse.
Lockdown. That's why. Look, I got that. I got this on lockdown. I'm hip. I'm jive. I know how to talk to the American people. I'm the most popular president in history. Didn't you see it? 800 billion people voted for me in 2020. And mind you, I won re-election in the midterms landslide. Ran unopposed. Nobody would even dare oppose me in the midterms.
Now, what's your favorite kind of ice cream?
Well, tonight I've got, what do I got here? I got cookies and cream. But Nancy's got a great variety of Ben and Jerry's. I like to go over there and eat some of hers. And Kamala likes to go over to, take her husband over to my house so that her husband can eat my wife's face.
Can you tell me a little bit about your wife, Joe? Who's your wife?
Yeah, it's my sister, Jill Biden.
Does she do anything in particular for work?
Yeah, she's the DR in the dot. I think that means she goes to the hospital.
I thought she was Dominican Republic. I didn't know.
Oh shit! I didn't know that she was foreign.
All right, my final joke is that the entire broadcast, prayers haven't been working. Take that fucking headline down.
Yeah,
Joe?
that's a little bit of a...
Joe?
What, who?
No, you.
Why is he bald in the back?
Because Joe really is bald in the back.
Joe
you ever seen that motherfucker from behind?
Joe literally balding.
Oh, over here. Ray-Bans and ice cream, folks. That's what I know. Did you see I had my George W. Bush moment? You remember when he was reading to the kids? When they told him about 9/11? Yeah. Well, when they asked me about the Nashville shooting, I talked about sunglasses and ice cream like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually not what happened. It was a completely different conversation, and you hadn't been asked that question, Joe, but your dementia's kicking
exactly
in, so I would understand why you forgot that.
No, that's exactly
actually, it was
how
completely
I
separate.
I thought it'd be good.
The conversation was actually not about that at all.
Yeah,
I understand that with your dementia.
Okay,
it's running
Parallax, he
together for
has
you, old man.
Alzheimer's. Go easy on him.
I know. I'm
Most
trying to
popular
help him
president
remember
in
it.
history, pal. Can't argue with these facts.
That agreed. I'll leave you there. Keep going.
Last question. This jacket here. Did you get this from the Sears catalog in 1986?
Somebody probably did, but I got this at the Goodwill because I'm a man of the people. I shop at the Goodwill as well. I like to get out there. I like to talk to the average voter and see how my polling numbers are doing. And I tell you what, we're averaging this on a golf score through the roof. I'm hitting birdies on every hole. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I feel that.
Business fraud, by the way, Phil.
Oh, that's what Trump's being indicted for?
Yeah.
Just as broad as you can possibly make it. So.
That fucking Cheeto man's going down. We're going to put him behind bars. He's going to serve hard time. It's going to be fantastic.
Hey,
Where did you hear that?
Actually, I was going to say, Joe, I got to say, Alan Bragg is not a brave nor a bold man. He wouldn't have done any of this unless he had certain assurances. That wouldn't have happened to come from you, did it, Joe?
You just said a bunch of words, and I only understood about half of them. I've got some stairs I've got to go trip up, though. So it was good having me on. Thanks again for letting me give you my wisdom. And
Joe,
most popular
enjoy your only
history,
term.
folks.
Enjoy your only term, Joe.
Stars and stripes, bitches. You can play me out, motherfucker? Where's it at? Where's my song?
Let's say, Master. What a fucking joke. Tony, you missed him again.
What happened?
How does this happen?
I
God,
stepped out for 1 second.
It's like He-Man and Adam are like the Power Rangers and those underpaid actors that never really
like
made much off the
me
show.
and Batman.
Pretty much same thing. Exactly.
So mysterious. It's just always missing.
Tony, one of these days you're gonna run into him though. So, but no,
I hope not. I don't want to trip.
I've been hearing my vote. He said all the right things. All right, look, this guy, he's on point.
In fairness, Tony, you probably would have remembered that those were actually two separate conversations that he had the other day, where the first one had nothing to do with the shooting that he got chimped out of. You probably wouldn't have made that mistake.
Right, except for the fact that George Bush was also reading to kids when they told him about 9/11. You know, things change while you're doing other things. And when things changed while he was doing other things, his response was ice cream and sunglasses. But it's cool.
Yeah, that's how that happened. You go.
It is actually.
You tell your narrative.
Yeah.
All right.
Your narrative.
No, actually, folks.
Not a narrative. You can watch it.
You folks
in real time
can actually look it up for yourself and find out who is right. Parallax and Tony, come back next week to Hazard Analysis Episode 3 and let either one of these know who gets it shoved up their ass. So, and that's what the internet's all about here, folks. So, yes, let us know next week. And fuck it, that's the fun way to do this. So,
crystal bottle.
Damn it.
It's me.
Ooh. Oh, no. Oh,
Phil Gin. Oh,
yes. Let's make Phil make the baby face again. I want to see it.
Yes, I'm
here for it.
The baby face.
Yeah, that face when you get the vegetables, and he's like,
it's the same. Again. It's the same face my 2-year-old daughter makes when you like scold her for something, and she gets emotionally damaged by it.
Yes, that I didn't see it.
If someone super chats you $5, I'll drink a shot of this rum straight out the bottle.
Oh,
nice. All right, I'm gonna give him 30 seconds to do it because in this amazing promo. Oh, God damn it, I'm sweating gin now.
Folks, you want to see 2 fat men make an ugly face? $10.
Ooh, hey, there you go. I mean, that's like the best deal in the history of ever, folks. Just like liking, sharing, subscribing right here to Hazard Analysis on YouTube, the new show in the big bucking empire. And also be sure to check out me and Tony this weekend for WrestleMania. It's going to be fucking awesome. Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, place to be. But folks... may you make your way through this life, and of course, back here to Hazard Analysis, happy, healthy, and much the wiser.
Babyface.
Why?
Because you love it.
Who invented gin? I need to know who to blame. It's
so funny. You make a face like it's scotch, like.
Scotch is delicious. Yeah. I'm actually drinking Irish whiskey tonight, so that's pretty close to scotch.
Yeah, I like JMO.
Oh, this is Jameson triple. This is better than any fucking Irish, like almost any Irish whiskey you will ever have.
JMO Silver is pretty good.
Oh, okay. I need to take a drink after that.
God damn it. I'm trying to post something.
So, we got a little more ground to cover, and oh fuck T, we might get into hour 3. I might be taking more gin. But for this particular topic.
Hang on.
Oh, fuck you. Tony, post a link for it.
Post a link. I'll make him drink.
Oh, son of a...
There you go.
Oh, hey.
I think that was for Parallax, Phil, not you.
Oh, okay. Thank Christ. But while somebody sends that in for the Buy Me Coffee, hopefully for you, Parallax, it's time for this particular topic. Guns in America, the Nashville shooting, and the future of how our nation's going to look in this regard. It's time for the hazard and the analysis. Osiris the wise, Osiris the great, Osiris of the chewing on crackers. Or whatever it is you're having.
No. First of all, these are not crackers. Don't disrespect the chicharrones.
Okay.
Con habaneros, okay?
Thought you were just like having like club crackers on, but okay.
No. Do I look white? Do you? Come on. Anyways.
Fair.
I mean, you kind of sound white sometimes, so
yeah, that's fine.
Are you talking about people who can't dance? What?
I'll take that.
I was about to say, like, I got a box of chicken and biscuit crackers, and that's the
chicken
whitest
and biscuit
crackers.
What the fuck is that?
Hang on.
Okay, it's all club crackers or Ritz. I'm sorry. Those are the only two.
We all know club crackers can't dance. Wait, what?
He actually went to go find his club crackers.
No, he went to go find his chicken and biscuit thing.
Oh, for God's sake!
Wait, he has chicken and biscuit crackers.
Yeah, yes, it's a thing. It's white.
They're amazing.
They're not even that good.
Fuck you! They are goddamn awesome.
Wait, they didn't even spell biscuit right. I'm offended.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
get
that
good.
Fuck you, Tony. That's what I had to say.
They're not that good.
Fuck you and anybody who even sounds like you, Tony. No, these are fucking amazing.
That is the most I eat gravy with a spoon product I have ever seen.
And what's wrong with gravy from a spoon, motherfucker? Oh wait, it's like
I mean, like
all of my sandwiches have mayonnaise.
Chicken biscuit crackers. The only thing you could eat that would make you whiter, Phil, would be tzatziki flavored Triscuits.
Shit, I don't have any of those in the house.
Not the fucking squeezed cheese straight from the can.
Well, no. We're not going white trash here. We were just going for the epitome of white. Sorry.
I don't have any 7-Up in my fridge either, so I'm sorry. I'm a little off. All right. The hazard and the analysis. Osiris the wise, Osiris the educating me on snack foods. What do you think is the hazards and the analysis going forward?
Oh shit!
I think the hazard is pretty obvious because we just keep going through the same loop as Americans. School shooting happens, everybody's irate. We forget about it in a week, 2 weeks, maybe 3, and nothing actually gets done. The latest polls have shown that Americans and Republicans and Democrats all agree that there should be things that need to be done. I think and this is another situation where the politicians are not mirroring what the general public are saying. The general public is saying we need things done. Republicans are doing their thing. Democrats are doing their thing, and spinning their narratives. And actually, nothing's being done. I think I hold the unpopular opinions that if you're going to have guns, you're going to have to accept a certain amount of risk and responsibilities. School shootings are not the number 1 cause of deaths. They're not even the number 10 cause of deaths. They're not the number 20 cause of deaths. They're not. It's a blip in the map of shootings in America. What are the number 1 things? Gang violence, domestic violence, suicides. These are the things that we need to be focused on if we want to actually put a dent in gun violence in America. And as terrible it is to have kids being shot, trust me, I have 7 kids. I know. I've had 1 kid die of SIDS. I know what it means to have a child die. This is not.
Sounds
the thing.
Like another one's dying in the background right now.
Well, it's okay if they're killing each other, right? It's kid-on-kid violence. We accept that. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Tony, you've got 4. You understand a little too well.
I'm just saying, dog. You talk about lost one, I'm like, you gonna lose another one. You better get away from this fucking.
No. Like, kid-on-kid violence is perfectly okay.
Nah, when you got multiple kids, that's normal. Tony just tuned it out. He didn't even hear it.
That's probably why I didn't hear it either.
Yeah, I just assumed it was coming from upstairs.
No,
I knew who's.
I just think that this is a terrible situation. It's one of those things, right? There's not a real answer for this problem here. There's no legislative answer. There's no moral answer. There's no ethical. There's no answer for this problem. The real answer for the problem is that we just change as human beings, and squash the upper levels of the ethical and moral problems that we have with guns. We need to get. I think it's perfectly fine. I've grew up with guns. I know a lot of people here have grown up with guns. It's perfectly okay to have guns, and not to have people shoot people in this way. These are obviously mentally disturbed people. This is a separate problem from the gun part, because I think that if these people didn't have guns, they'd be killing people otherwise. I don't know. It just seemed like there's no real answer to this, and I think we need to step back and realize that, and then realize that there's bigger problems to be solved. You can you can stick your finger in the dike and hope to stop the flood, but you know what? You're still gonna fucking drown. This is not the thing to be focused on. Go ahead.
No, I was just wondering. So would that be the analysis, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Jacanadar, what do you think is the hazard and the analysis? And I'll even mute my mic for you.
Okay. Well, I mean, honestly, Osiris kind of stole my thunder with that, because it is a change in culture that we need, not even really a horrible change in policy, with the exception of we do need indiscriminate background checks on every gun sale, which will limit this quite a bit, because people who are on those can't purchase a gun lists won't be able to purchase one if they have to go through a background check every time they want to purchase a gun. Now, that won't eliminate all the problems, but god damn it, we can minimize some of it. Like, in all honesty, I don't think we are ever going to completely get rid of this problem, due to the fact that we do have an overall gun culture. And I don't think that gun culture is a horrible thing. I think when it's taken to the point of near fetishization, like the ammosexuals do, that is what we need to change. If we can eliminate that from our culture, we probably will have the same number of school shootings as other gun-heavy countries that don't have them, you know, like Switzerland.
Okay. Parallax, the hazard and the analysis.
The hazard is that because once again, and this time I'm really looking at this hypercritical of left-leaning media sources. The hazard is that once again we have highlighted the shooter. We have not highlighted the victims. We have made another person famous who should not have been made famous. And we have politicized the issue once again. And so, as everyone else has said, and it's going to be parroted, we're not going to do anything about it. Frankly, most of the time, I love back and forth discourse and debates. This is one of those topics that at some point, all of the logic in the world just isn't going to get me out of, we have to fucking do something. If it's cultural change, then it's cultural change, and it has to start from every level, whether it's gun culture, violence culture, whether it's the way we portray guns and how cool they are in Hollywood and celebrating mobsters, whether it's changing the violence in general and how it's presented to us. I don't care what the fucking changes are, but I'm sick and tired of talking about it for 2 days and doing nothing. And we say this every time too, and it's tired. And I have a 3-year-old, and I'm scared shitless of sending her to school, and I shouldn't be, because the reality is it's a very low statistical likelihood that she's going to go through this process. But every single time it happens, we make it a political national issue, we make the shooter famous, and then we do nothing. So we need to either shut the fuck up and focus on the things that my friend above me mentioned, the things that are leading to more death in this country, or we can talk about it and do something about it. But no in between anymore. This shit's got to stop. And everybody agrees. The majority of the country is willing to fucking meet in the middle. Let's get our representatives to represent us. Vote these fuckers out, man. I don't know. I'm tired. I'm scared my kid's gonna die.
Clean sweep Congress and Senate. I'm all about it. Let's go.
Unfortunately, Parallax, like that is something that any parent has that fear when they send their kids.
I want to drink another shot. Someone
if you're
donate
not,
another $5.
If you're not, you don't have your head in the game. Aiko, you have been stoically like a monk, quiet for this. And I'm curious, what is your hazard and analysis, sir?
It's interesting that you say monk, because
I heard
a priest say the other day that recount the story of Moloch in the Bible. And Moloch is a god that you are supposed to sacrifice your children to on a fairly regular basis. It's a very steep price that gets made in order to sacrifice to Moloch. And he was talking about, not about guns, because he owns guns himself, this particular priest, but about the gun culture that's been described on the panel here by a couple of panelists. And he said, basically, that gun culture is now the modern day Moloch. It is demanding the lives of our children. And I'd like to think that the risk is statistically low because it is, compared to like other risks like with medical interventions and things like that. But it's a risk that's rising over time. And so I think what we need to do is look not just at where we are on the trend line, but where the trend line's going. It was not statistically low enough for me to not be in a shooting when it happened at a school. And let me say, by the way, I've also been to I go to about 30 different school buildings per year for debate tournaments on a regular basis. And often I'll park like in the back. So it's very difficult to sort of like walk around the school to come in through the front the way you're supposed to. So I'll go right up to one of the back doors. I'll knock on that back door, and some kid will just open the door for me and let me in. And for 35 years, that's been happening. So this ingress egress thing, like, yeah, you can lock all of the doors, but as long as somebody from the inside is able to get out, which is still the case in every school, like limiting ingress and egress like doesn't seem to be a solution. I think the solution maybe is to stop worshiping Moloch.
So yeah, I'm cool with that. But also, just to be clear, when I referred to ingress and egress, I meant with SROs. I was pairing the two, just so we're clear.
Sure, yeah, but I mean, any student can open a door from the inside, whether it's locked or not.
Tony G, the hazard, and then the analysis.
I'll keep it simple. The hazard is the same hazard that we've been seeing since 1999 when Columbine became a thing. If you keep glorifying these people and talking about them nonstop on multiple channels of news coverage 24/7, talking about the dangers, talking about the fallout, talking about it, if you keep putting these people on a pedestal, if you keep putting them up on this this martyr-like painting, on a mural for all the media to put out to the public, that's the problem. Because when Columbine happened, it was new, it was different, we didn't know how to react to it. The problem was we overreacted to it. And I'm not saying that to be insensitive. I'm saying that because the way that the country reacted to that tragedy, unfortunately, made a lot of other mentally unstable people see the attention that those fucking psychopaths got. And that ultimately and eventually led to many other people being inspired in the wrong fucking way. And we have never stopped glorifying these situations. Sure, we talk badly about them, and we talk about mental health, and we talk about gun violence, and we talk about all this stuff, and we send all the thoughts and prayers, but we never stop glorifying it. We never stop putting these people on a pedestal, and it's never going to actually reduce these things if we don't stop doing that. The news should just not talk about it. And I say news with the air quotes. And the analysis is real simple. I'm going to always go back to this quote from Terminator 2. It's in your nature to destroy yourselves. And that's always going to be the case, whether it be a gun, whether it be a bomb, whether it be a knife, whether it be a car, whether it be fisticuffs. It doesn't matter. Unfortunately, the human psyche is ingrained in harming each other.
Oh, well done. Well done, T. I'm going to say that the hazard is pretty obvious. The hazard is our children. The hazard is the safety of our children. There's nobody here that wants our children to be less safe. And, you know, Aiko, you were talking about something a little earlier where some of your own personal experiences, I'm not going to say what year, but there was a time when they found some kid with a big goddamn arsenal at my kid's school. And it was a big deal, lockdown, you know. Now, the thing is, to the kids, it's glum humdrum. They just talked about it like they were describing Minecraft. But like, I don't know if any of you have ever seen The Silence of the Lambs, where Hannibal Lecter's talking to a mother and is like, you know, when they amputate somebody's limb, sometimes they say they can still feel it tickle. Well, tell me something, Ma. When your child's laying on the slab, where will it tickle you? And me, I felt the tickle right here, just right here inside, like that. Like I just felt it like crushing inside. And so I have felt this before personally. And that is the hazard, that every parent has that sinking feeling in their gut. The analysis is going back to something that I said at the very beginning of this topic and never really got a response to. And it goes back to all those years of the Virginia Tech shooting when I said the exact same thing and never got a response to it then either, other than shrugged shoulders, because there is nothing. When I said, what could have possibly stopped this shooter other than another armed individual? That's it. The unfortunate reality is that the only thing that is going to stop violence and evil is somebody that's willing to meet it with just as much violence in defense. That is the unfortunate reality of our species. That has been our reality since we left Babylon. That will be our reality after we explore the stars. And so that is the unfortunate reality of the duality of humanity, is our ability to be angels and demons, every one of us. And so with that, we close out this particular topic. So before we move on to something that I've been wanting to get into here, I unfortunately...
You got 2. Yeah, you got 2. Yeah. That's pretty cool, right?
That gives me
time. Make it a double.
All right. Thank you, Aiko. Now, the next topic we're going to get into is something that I've been wanting to get into with Jacanadar here. Let me pour this particular shot here. God damn it. And then let me set the table here. And then Jacanadar, I promise you, I'm not even going to interrupt your intro here. So
I'll even turn off the game.
What, yeah, I like how everyone's like, fuck, yeah, right.
I even turned off my game.
Don't tell me no shit I can't believe on acid, Phil. Okay, like,
said all night.
Hey, no, he did mute himself and let me get through my whole analysis. So
that was nice.
Okay, this is gonna be real bad. This is gonna be bad. All right.
All right, zoom in on Babyface. Zoom in on Babyface.
We don't need to zoom in on
yes, let's do it.
Like the ultimate bitter beer face. Yeah, this is a lot of gin, folks. It is with a great amount of chagrin, but to make all of you beautiful folks at home grin, that I take this way too excessive shot of gin. Fuck this shit!
In your throat.
Oh. You gotta swallow. There you go.
Swallow like a Catholic virgin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Gonna drink that gin. All right.
Hey, I'm putting this on my bucket list. I gotta hang out with Phil KOE. We're gonna have a drink night. You know,
it's not all it's cracked up to be. I'm just
Hey Tony, you shut your whore mouth.
This will be a lot. Maybe I'm just burned out.
Phil, do you like the strip clubs?
Yeah, it's kind of like when you asked me a little earlier another question. I'm like, oh, you don't want to hear what little old me has to say about all that.
Okay, we'll put that on the back burner, right?
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
I'd love to answer that question for him, but I won't.
You've already answered it. It's fine.
Thank you, Tony. But all right, Jacanadar, our good pal Jacanadar. Now, there's something that we've discussed many times, and you mentioned a few times that you are a communist, not a Marxist.
Yes.
And much like something that Aiko pointed out, that for on the right, saying that you're a liberal or a leftist, but not this or that, to most folks on the right, a socialist, a communist, and a Marxist, that's sort of like the difference between a goth and emo and a vampire kid. Like, sure, amongst themselves, it seems like a big difference, but to everybody on the outside, it just looks like a bunch of sad kids with way too much eyeliner. And so, like, yeah, I got him to laugh. Yes, I fucking did it, motherfucker. Woo! I fucking broke the statue. All right. So what I'm wondering is there a way, like, this is a little bit of a, instead of a coffee mug, it's a whiskey glass, change my mind. Can you make this right winger think there's a meaningful difference between Marxist, communist, and socialist? And more importantly, I'm curious, what is it that to you says I'm a communist, but not a Marxist? And now that I've set that table for you, good sir, I will not interrupt your opening statement. So help me God. It's going to be painful, but I will not.
Okay, well, to explain the differences first, Marx was somebody who was evaluating the human condition and evaluating past human states that we had lived in antiquity to potentially come up with a concept that would be an antithesis to capitalism. I am vastly oversimplifying for this. However, he was evaluating previous thinkers, and he corrupted a lot of their ideology with his own biases. So when you're talking about a Marxist is somebody who is absolutely held within the ideology of Karl Marx, or they more often than not, they call themselves Marxist-Leninists, and therefore they are the weird amalgamation between Lenin and Marx. And let's be honest, the only way you can be a Marxist-Leninist in today's world is to ignore history. A communist, on the other hand, has existed since antiquity. Technically, even Plato wrote about it in his Republic. The first communist society that he is describing is a fellow Greek nation state that existed and was eventually gobbled up by a militaristic neighbor. But until they were actually attacked by the militaristic neighbor, they had lived in harmony for 4 generations, which in that time period was significant. Considering time, 4 generations at that time was about 85 years, and that was actually enough to change entire nation-state policy. So when you're talking communist, you're talking about the communal living of each person being a contributor to that society in whatever way that they are actually applicable within their talents, but everybody getting what they need, i.e. food, shelter, and medicine. That's not everything. There's still barter, there's still trade, etc. But the necessities are met so that you aren't worried about starving in the street while you add to society, be an artist or a carpenter or what have you. Now, socialism is where it gets complicated, because there are so many different flavors of socialism. I'd be here all night if I tried to explain them all. Socialism is what I describe as communism light. I mean, honestly, and I don't mean that as a denigration of it. It's just, it is the half step between capitalism and communism, because of the simple fact that it is trying to, when it was conceived, fit within the material conditions of its era. Now, this is the 1950s. This is the time period when the West saw some of the greatest economic growth in world history, and the East was getting a little bit of trickle down in Southeast Asia, but Russia was largely stagnating within itself. They had a lot of technological growth, but they didn't have a lot of economic growth. So it's one of those things where they were trying to take the good parts of socialism and the good parts of capitalism and create that hybrid that you and I have talked about so many times, Phil. Unfortunately, they failed. And the reason that they failed is because they failed to take into the reality of that you can't have a true socialist society if you were competing with capitalistic neighbors. You were always going to be functioning under capitalism in that amalgamation, which is why me, being the more futurist communist that I am, I actually believe that it's going to be a hybridization of all 3 systems, because I don't believe we're ever getting rid of capitalism, at least not in anybody who's living today's lifetime. Not even my youngest grandson, who is a year and a half right now. It's one of these things that capitalism could not be phased out in any kind of a short time frame without extreme bloodshed. And as somebody who's been to war, that's not something I want. So Roddenberry and Orson Scott Card are 2 fiction writers who are also extremely well-read philosophers. But funnily enough, Orson Scott Card, a devout Mormon. Roddenberry, a devout atheist. I mean, but they both came to the same conclusion that this hybridized system of communism will be the overall progenitor that wins in the end, because of the simple fact that as the nations come together in a more globalist society due to the need of infrastructure and intermingling of markets, because of the fact that very few nations have the resource wealth to be truly self-sufficient, that you will have to hybridize so that there's less clash as the systems meet in the overlap. Now, they both hypothesize a one-world government is necessary for this to eventually come into fruition. I personally also agree. This is, again, why I also believe that it won't ever be in my lifetime. Now, Orson Scott Card does it in a way that I think you will like a little bit better than Roddenberry's form. Orson Scott Card actually had a hegemon arise. All the nations still had their national governments, and they still, for the most part, operated how they damn well pleased. But there was a global hegemon that eventually went out through a series of conflicts and wars that that basically dictated that there will be no more, basically the ultimate personification of the international rules-based order. You will not invade another country. You will not change borders. The only reason for warfare is if absolute fucking necessity, meets it, and then your forces will come under the command of the hegemon, and we'll go stomp it out together, as the international force, to create the overall feeling of brotherhood that we get within the military. This force would be drawn from all nations of the world, and on voluntary basis, mind you. It would be volunteers from each member nation, which is in a one world government, all member nations. Now, they both drew from the two citations I pulled into the chat here, which is the Pythagorean Communism, Transactions and Proceedings of American Psychological Association. This is a 1944 treatise that was written by Edwin Manar, that he had been a lifelong scholar of Pythagoras, if I remember correctly. And he actually went through that Pythagoras actually lived in the nation state that Plato eventually is describing. And Ensign Russell, who is Russell Ensign, rather, who was an autodidactic individual who eventually got an honorary doctorate for his understanding of political science, so on and so forth. Now, that one is actually talking about Platonic communism. Again, his representation of the original communist state, which is circa
the city of pigs.
Essentially, yes. I mean, he because of the way he hyperbolizes, yes, he never actually names the nation state. But yes, that is where we were going, and thank you for that, because you just capped it off nicely, Rich.
Yeah, I love Plato.
I didn't interrupt. That was
right.
I didn't.
No, but he
Wait
literally.
a minute. That was the cap? That was where you landed the fucking plane? What was the flight path, Amelia Earhart? No one found you. Where are you? What the fuck is the difference? You did not illustrate that.
Okay, no, I explained the difference to begin with, and then I explained what I am. So you may not have understood what I am and asked questions on that, but the difference between Marxist, communist, and socialist are drastically different. A communist does not believe in the Marxist principles of an authoritarian state, vanguardism, and a few other fucking lovely little grenades in his ideology.
Yeah.
So well, hold on a second. Wasn't vanguardism against Marx?
Hold on. I want to bite the bullet to ML. Like, we don't need to discuss MLism. Nobody with a brain is a Marxist Leninist. So I don't think you established a
yes, I am. Hold on. Yes, I am very long-winded, Trey. I am very long-winded.
I don't think you established a very good delineated difference between, and the chat is echoing it as well. And maybe you did, Hold on. Hey, Jack, you didn't get interrupted. You didn't get it, motherfucker.
No,
I will kill you.
I'm saying I agree. I can say I didn't start the line.
Give me a Reader's Digest, your difference. Reader's Digest version. Not Marxism, the fucking...
Marxism
thesis.
Relies on authoritarian force to imply its rhetoric as opposed to the actual rising
No, not Marxism.
tide.
Communism and socialism.
Well... when we're talking communism and socialism only, we're having to talk about the communism that people understand as existing today. And then therefore we're talking Marxism, because those are the primary forms of communism that have existed in governmental form within living memory.
But that wasn't the question, right? The question was, what's the difference between Marxism and communism?
Yes, Marxism, communism, and socialism.
Yes.
Like, what's the meaningful difference? Like, and I like how Parallax, like, okay, imagine you're trying to sell this. What's the difference? And you're trying to tell this to, okay, I'm trying to think of somebody
I got it.
that you would imagine attending a Trump rally. Okay.
Yeah, you're trying to sell it to this guy. Okay, man, if he's born with a penis, he's a man. And if he's born with a vagina, he's a woman. Sell him on the difference.
Or at least try to explain it to him.
Can I take a crack at it that only takes
It's kind of like that movie Margin Call. It's like, explain it to me like I'm a small child.
Because I gotta be honest, I love Jack, but I said somewhere about 85% through his Death Star trench run of a fucking explanation that I've never been more against communism in my entire life.
I've got a 10-second.
But that's because you dislike me.
No, I love you to pieces.
I know.
You just use more words.
Now,
that was a fucking Mr. Girl level essay of an explanation.
No,
let me tell you very
simply in my level of verbiage. Yes, I understand.
I can tell you in a way that's incredibly simplified. It's this.
Oh, I know the difference. I just want him to land the plane. Go ahead, please, Rich.
It's look, the difference between what because I've heard Jack explain like what he thinks like many times, and really the difference is Marx describes achieving communism through revolution, and Jack thinks that it can be done through evolution. That's it.
I mean, for the distinction between me and the Marxists, yes.
Right.
But going back to the distinction between general communists, the people who believe in what I would more colloquially refer to as evolved communism, people who aren't stuck in the previous rhetoric, and Marxists, is the authoritarian measures necessary to implement it. Because when you're talking about the more general form of communism, it is actually the communal style of living that we actually had in early America, where the rising tide of your neighbor actually helped you because they would give you surplus fertilizer in that time in the form of manure, etc. We actually did have this time period from about 1780 to about 1812. This is what I'm pushing back more towards. Actually, more American traditional values where you help your neighbor, you help your community, etc. The only difference is you view your community more as a overall national scale as opposed to the people you can see on the next horizon.
All right, Tony, you had a question that you were wanting to get, and you're muted.
You're muted.
Damn it! It was so brilliant. Yeah, the meaning of life. He just.
No, I don't have a question. I actually just Googled it, and turns out that's way fucking easier. If you ask Google what's the difference between communism and socialism, it says the main difference is that under communism, most property and economic resources are owned and controlled by the state rather than individual citizens. Under socialism, all citizens share equally in economic resources as allocated by democratically elected government. People also ask, is socialism a form of communism? An early distinction between communism and socialism was that the latter aimed to only socialize production, while the former aimed to socialize both production and consumption in the free form of access to the final goods. And I'm adding this part, both are a fairy tale.
Hey! All right, so, Tony, first of all, fuck you for cheating and going to Google. That's a bunch
I'm sorry. I just wanted to wrap up the last 30 minutes.
This is bullshit.
He should be going to ChatGPT.
I am Russian bear. I will not listen to this bullshit propaganda. Okay? You American cannot
Russian
even
bear
define
blood.
difference. You American cannot even define difference between communism and socialism, and you want to tell me it is fairy tale? It is fairy tale?
No.
Well, hold on.
You
I
can't tell the difference.
I got a simple thing for this. So
You cannot tell me the difference. It's not a fairy tale.
I think we live in an economic system that is the most.
I want it.
I'm sure you.
Oh, he wants it though.
He wants it. All right.
Oh, we all gotta take a drink.
American.
I think we live. I think our economic systems will change as we need them to change. Now, we do have a certain amount of socialism now in our democracy, and if things get more fair, if they do, I don't know if that's true because I don't have a lot of hope for humanity, to be honest with you at this point. But if they do get better, there might be more socialism as opposed to capitalism under the socialistic capitalistic system that there is. We absolutely live under a socialistic capitalist system.
Yeah, it's called the Metaverse by Mark Zuckerberg.
You listen. Okay, Russian better tell you did not allow us. The West did everything they could to hinder us from achieving Marxism. It's bullshit.
Good.
Is anybody?
Unfortunately, Parallax, you sound less Russian and more like you're from fucking Holland with an.
Hey, that's okay. Don't have to sound like who you're impersonating.
I was about to say, if he's going to call out the Joe Biden accent, we gotta.
Right.
You're
allowed to use whatever accent you want.
You did okay for the first couple of sentences, but as you kept going, you started to sound more and more like our friend Chinchilla.
Is anybody here?
So here's the reason. Here's the reason. I was espousing communism, which, as we know, gets you expelled from Russia, and you have to flee to other parts of Europe for a while. So I'm sorry, it just makes sense.
Or you end up like Trotsky and with a pickaxe.
Is anybody here opposed to the socialistic parts of the capitalistic system that we have, though, right now?
No, give me more. Give me more.
Here's the thing.
I want to hear their arguments against this.
Well, no, like when you're saying socialist, like a lot of people make a very big mistake where they think anytime that an individual or a corporation just interacts with the government in one way or another,
when the government
that is socialism. But what we're really talking about is when they're seizing the means of anytime the government seizes the means of production, I get a little trepidatious because there was a time back in the 70s where there was a legalized whorehouse in Nevada. The IRS had to take it over because they weren't paying their taxes right, and they couldn't even turn the government couldn't even turn a profit running a whorehouse. So I don't know.
Does that mean they seized the whores because they are the means of production?
They seized the whores of production. Apparently,
did they grab them by the
whores
pussy?
Were still there, but they just removed all lubrication.
So, like, when we talk about the means of production,
the obvious things, Social Security, the welfare programs, right? Are we opposed to this, or are we opposed to?
Well, do you think that's socialism? Because that doesn't really sound like seizing the means of production, does it?
Jack, you got to check on the color saturation on your camera. Why you look like Homer Simpson right now?
That's
yellow as a motherfucker. You jaundiced?
No, it's because it's the only light I have on at the moment.
Ooh.
You looking jaundiced, my dude.
If you thought it was easy for the government to fuck us over under capitalism, just wait until you see the U.S. government under fucking socialism.
Wait, no, I'm not talking about socialism. I'm talking about the way it works now.
Insert-ism that's not capitalism.
No, the way it works right now. Are we against Social Security? Are we against SNAP or food stamps? Or are we against?
Like I said, I don't think that's necessarily socialism because that's not seizing the means of production.
It's the hybrid thing that I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, and this is the hybridization that we talk about all the time.
I know what you're talking about. Hybridization. I'm just kind of pushing back.
So, like what Jack was saying, if I heard correctly, I did step away. That there's going to be like there's like a push and pull as it's needed in society. So if we go into the future where commodities are much easier to obtain, et cetera, we might have more socialistic parts of the capitalistic society as there is today. Are we against that? Like,
for example, more extreme automation taking the need for many laborers out of the market. For example,
like healthcare.
Well, I just went to one that would make them happy. I agree.
Well, no, Jacanar does raise a good point with automation because, like, I've seen it myself where a guy will install one robot in his facility and it eliminates 60 seasonal jobs like that, and they're never coming down. And I'm in agriculture. Automation is always a part of our.
Yeah,
Osiris.
For example, I was about to say, for example, the combine harvester.
Okay, Rich, I'll let you speak next.
With the shunt, that used to be done where you guys would basically lay it in rows, and then your laborers would come and then fucking harvest the fucking rows that it shunted out instead of putting it into big flatbeds running next to you. Like, that is how it used to be done when they were smaller and just pushed it off to the side. And that's what I'm getting at is like that the combine, how many laborers would it take to harvest all your corn? If you cut it all down and they had to pick it up, how many laborers would it take, KOE?
Not that many if you're getting them from the NFL combine. Why'd you bring that up?
Oh, sorry. I was reading the comments. What was your question, Jack?
If you had the antique style combine that would basically cut the corn and then just lay it off to the side, so that you'd have to have somebody come and pick up the stalks. How many laborers would it take for your farm? Because I don't know your acreage, etc. So,
well, I'm just thinking back in the day,
we call them ranches.
Automation hit. In order to harvest the seed crop with sorters and everything, like, I mean, Tony, you've driven by it a few times, like way back in the day, like it was probably like about 60, 80 people to make sure that the crop actually came in. Now with automation, we can do the whole thing with about 15.
Yeah, so you literally quartered your workforce necessity. And that's just a few pieces of equipment. If you start talking the corporate farms that have mass automation, they're doing the same acreage that you are with like 4 people. And they're working them to death. They're working them to death, mind you, but they're doing it with 4 people.
Osiris, yes.
Oh, that was your response.
Guess what?
Yeah. Oh, well, it made more sense at the time when I was trying to say it. But no, yes.
I did say I'd let you speak, but something.
We do want Social Security and SNAP and all of that. But guess who didn't want it when it was being introduced in the 30s? Guess who fought hard against Social Security and SNAP and things like that?
Poor people.
The communists. They were against it because they thought programs like
Same thing.
They thought programs like that would forestall the revolution and stop, the communist revolution from occurring. So, in fact, this is one of the reasons why communists and socialists aren't fans of liberals, because they see liberalism as the thing that stopped communism, socialism from coming into existence.
You know, actually, this is something that I've said many times. Tony hates this whenever I bring this up, but like when we really examine it, there is a truth here. Maybe there's something you can push back on, but there is a truth here. And with what you're talking about, because I've always said throughout all history, and give me just a moment to unpack this, but throughout all history, moderates have always been the enemies of real change. Whether that change is good or bad, the moderate will always be because the moderate kind of likes the status quo. And the best example of this, now this is an extreme example, but it really demonstrates it, was when we were trying to eliminate slavery in this nation. The abolitionists' greatest enemy that they had the biggest problem with, like the slaver was a pretty obvious enemy. You could see it. It wasn't hard to identify. Their biggest problem were the reformers, the people that said, we don't need to abolish slavery. That's too extreme. We just need to reform slavery, see to it that the slaves are beaten and raped less. And those were the abolitionists' biggest problem, were those moderates. And so
in this analogy, Tony is the reformist and you're the slave owner.
No, this is Phil's.
Well, no, I'm the abolitionist.
Word salad guilt trip into trying to convince people to not be moderates but to be conservative.
Yeah, the word salad is on the left. The word salad bar is on the left side of your screen.
No, the slavers were the Democrats back in the day. I hate to tell you.
Well, they were the Democrats back then. Yeah, Democrats were conservative.
They wouldn't be what I'd call liberals.
And in 30 years, you're going to hear Democrats say, no, actually, we oppose mask and vaccine mandates. You're going to try and pull that presto changeo again.
No, the vaccine mandates will continue to be. You think Democrats are going to flip?
No, in 30 years, they'll be tremendously unpopular, and the Democrats will be like, no, we were totally against those, but the parties were switched back then. And they'll try to pull the same bullshit. They'll try to pull the same presto changeo bullshit that they did previously.
Yeah, he's arguing.
Hold on, this is a Republican narrative. This is the Republicans who said that they were going to.
Wait, I think we're conflating liberals and conservatives versus Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah,
because the Democrats were the conservatives back then.
You store all of your patience in your beard, Rich. It's just so full.
No, he has 30. He has 35 years.
You should store some in your head hair because it's really weird that you got a full ass beard and
I've
hair
dealt with 13-year-olds for 35 years. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 35 years of
that prepared me for Twitch. It's perfect.
Yeah. Because you run into a lot of people that are about the level of a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, how do you have two different types of hair on the same fucking head?
He's wondering how you haven't stressed one of them out.
Because I'm younger up here than I am down here. Is that what you're saying?
Oh wait. How old? Hold on, dude.
Yeah.
You're Richard Gere on top, Santa Claus on the chin.
Wait. How old are you?
55.
No. Parallax.
Your beard is 73. I'm 35. What up, son?
Son.
Shave that beard, he'd still look like it.
That's
why I know. This is why
I asked the question.
You ain't gonna roast me better than I do. I look like the world's largest.
If I take my head off, I have patches of gray hair. It just happens when you get old. That's why I know you're not old.
Well, no, I'm just gonna point this out.
30. Yeah,
I have seen a picture of Rich with his beard shaved. No, I thought it was the dude like next to him. I didn't realize because they were both shaved. Like I thought it was the dude next to him. Like he looks totally different. It's wild.
Did you go? Don't Homer when you realized you were wrong?
Oh, fuck off.
No, he's got more of a Homer Simpson, Glenn Quagmire thing going here because he's got the Hawaiian shirt, but he's got the Homer Simpson bald head and the yellow hue. So
you can do.
It's like they go see Barely just for you, Quagmire.
How do you keep flashing the color of that light and still end up yellow? You're actually Homer, dog.
Well, actually, I have been out.
No, you look like Homer and Ned Flanders had or Homer and his boss rather had a kid. Look at that nose.
Oh, Yank is back.
This is true. Iko Rich is the original Oak Ridge boy, says Trey Powell. I would believe it. Damn it. Oh, all right. Gents. Oh, yeah. Bring them on. If any of y'all have any drinks to give out, you got only a few minutes to give them out. And guess what, folks? I don't think you got the guts. Come on. Bring them on. I'll take on a lot of yes. There ain't enough gin shots you can give me. So, with that,
I'm still on the table. Chat. I'll do another one if someone wants to pay for it.
Oh,
chat, I'm going to give you a mission. Make this man do shots of Everclear one night and see how quick he freaking drops.
Fuck you, man! Like, why do you hate me? Like, Jesus.
Okay.
Like, yeah, by like an hour or two, by like 45 minutes. Like, let me tell you, bitch.
Hey, listen, hold up.
It's not that bad if you're a regular drinker.
Listen, as we're coming to a close here, I've roasted pretty much everybody on the panel, and I got to point out, Tony, while you are beautiful, you look like you ever see them girls that post about how they're country and they got them rhinestone jeans on? You look like the male equivalent of that. You look like you out there. I got accused of fucking playing country face earlier. You look like you were in a frat in your 20s and then started wearing cowboy hats at 26.
I lived with Phil in my 20s, but
no. I'm just saying. We
had an apartment.
Like
I definitely wasn't. Yeah, rhinestoning it up.
I don't know, bro. Those look like Greek letters to me.
Okay.
No. Sorry, no. Tony was the motherfucker who first called me Phil KOE back when I was fucking 12 years old, and it's stuck ever since.
Right, yes or no? Did you used to wear Ed Hardy?
Oh
no.
God.
Got him.
No.
What's an Ed Hardy?
No.
It's
bro or Ed Hardy.
It's a brand like we didn't really have here in Nebraska, Phil.
Oh no, never did that.
No, there was really no Ed Hardy.
Don't let Tony fucking fool you. Like, yeah, that guy was pulling down like fucking 6 girls for my one. Okay, like back in college, he could fucking pull
Phil,
it down.
Time the fuck out. 16. Don't lie to us.
Well, there's at least 10 he's not proud of that he doesn't want to mention.
Oh no!
Listen, I know you only.
Wait. Who's the better wingman?
Hold at
Phil
least 16.
or Tony?
I can do math.
Wait, who's the better wingman?
I'm gonna go with chicken.
Tony, Phil can't fly. No matter how big them wings are.
Yeah, it's gonna take me a while. I don't know, T. That's a tough question because.
Hey, look, if I come to Nebraska and I'm single, who am I going with? Am I going with Phil or am I going with Tony?
Me.
Wow.
Ooh, all right. Well, it depends. Do you want a one-on-one with Phil, or would you at least like a menage a trois? Because that's
Jesus Christ.
That's the difference.
Wow. So that's
or
what
is that
Tony's
what
doing.
you're talking about?
No, Tony. No.
I don't. Now that you said that, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know.
Yeah. Whoops. Oopsie daisies.
We
So
walked into the wrong bar.
Yes, we did.
I gotta be honest. As long as I'm dishing them out, I gotta finish up. My man in the top middle. Why do you look like just you actually are one of the good ones? Like that. Why do you look like that's the vibe you're trying to give off?
Oh,
Jesus Christ!
I'm so good.
well, folks, it was a great run. Hazard analysis. We had a great run. This is the final episode. It was a great time. two episode run. Wow, well done, guys. You made it 2 whole episodes. That's it. Just they cut us off right there.
Man, I told you, Yank, you missed an opportunity there. You should have had the Kevin Sorbo disappointed soundbite for that one. You really should have.
Well, folks, now it's time for us to go around one last time, and this is, you can talk about the hazards of communism, the hazards of this show, the hazards you see coming in our world, and the analysis of where people should find you and what you think is going to happen in this weird, wild, wacky adventure that we call life. Osiris the Wise, Osiris the Great, Osiris of the educating of snack foodery. We go to you first, sir.
Look, you can find me in Osiris everywhere. I don't really do much these days on social medias, but look, if you want to follow me, that's fine. But follow me because I follow great people. I follow Phil KOE. I follow Tiberius D. I follow all of these people, and I'm producing some new stuff for you people.
About to be following Parallax.
Hey, get in the circle. We can make stuff happen. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
But no, like it's been fun. I absolutely love these engagements with you guys. So don't follow me, follow them. That's what you need to do. All right.
All right, Jacanadar, the hazards, the analysis of the world that is you. Go, sir.
The hazards of communism is don't believe in fucking Russian or Chinese as being communists. Just consider them authoritarian douche canoes that we need to, kind of erase from their current iteration. And as far as like where you can find me, I'm streaming on YouTube currently at Jacanadar Painting. That's JAKKANADAR Painting for YouTube. That being said, like honestly, communism is an incremental thing. The communism socialism hybrid that I have postulated with so many people, in all honesty, is already happening right here in this country. We just need to continue it, not even accelerate it, just continue it. We need to not let it stagnate. Things like the fire department, police department, highway and interstate, etc. All these lovely things you know and think of today is actually a form of socialism that we could expand upon. And as my good friend Parallax, who looks like he wants to strangle me at the moment, said earlier, one of the major things that we can do with this is healthcare, because I think everybody can agree we don't want people dying on the streets of easily preventable diseases. We're a first world country. We can do better.
Okie dokie. All right. Parallax, the hazard and the analysis, sir.
I think the hazard of socialism and communism is conversations like this. This was honestly fucking brain aids. I'm pretty sure Jack spoke for 15 minutes and said 7 things total. Period. That being said, this conversation as a whole has been an absolute blast. You guys have been so much fun. I appreciate you guys letting me troll a little bit and be the roast fat comedian that I am. Feel free to dish it back anytime you can. Just know it's coming back 3 times as hard, because my man Phil knows I espouse exactly one belief of Satanism, because I thought that they didn't worship Satan, but then I found out they did, so I can't claim them all. So the only one I espouse is I do not turn the other cheek. You smack me, I'm gonna punch you. No, it's been an absolute blast. You guys have been a very fun time tonight. I don't drink a lot, so I want to do this more, because then I can drink more. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And bro, I gotta tell you, for a rhinestone cowboy, use a dreamboat, dog.
You're welcome to kiss my rhinestone.
I'm a married man, but you know what I'm saying? One night I might risk it all.
Pucker up. Get my rhinestone.
Damn. Well, with all that, Aiko.
The bedazzled belt buckle.
Oh,
the hazard of this night,
all about
and the analysis of where they can find
bedazzle my champ stamp.
Oh, you ever heard of a vajazzle? Yeah, we'll get ready for a vajazzle.
Can we bedazzle my balls?
How many ways can we get
2006 just came back.
I didn't actually go to like a salon to have it done. I just walked into a Hobby Lobby and sprinkled glitter on my sack. But I mean, either way.
How many ways did we
So
get
I
canceled
got
in
a
one
tattoo
show?
in Greece, and I got teabag tattooed on my dick, and when it gets hard, it says Timothy's Bar and Grill.
Ooh,
Nice.
but is that good? Is that like a BOGO coupon? Can I take that in and like get a free order of wings?
But if you suck it long enough, you get a drink.
I'm not that thirsty, but it'd be more like.
Yeah, it's more of a shot.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Okay, go. Oh my God, get us away from that little train wreck.
Why, Phil?
What am I supposed to say? Oh, hazard. I guess the hazard of Jack's version of communism is that it doesn't have a mechanism that I can see. Like, but that's why he puts it like so far into the future, so that there's really like, it's just like, to me, his version of communism has just been whatever comes after social democracy. So if the SOCDEMs like get what they want, like, you know, in big countries rather than just places like Scandinavia and Germany, what comes next, I think, is what Jack might be talking about. Well, but the hazard is that we don't know what the mechanism is.
Mm-hmm.
So Phil's hair is Rich's hair is a metaphor. So the SOCDEMs are on top, and the communism is what it could become.
That is a Marxist beard,
fully achieved.
We could absolutely make him cosplay as Karl Marx very easily. It would take like a little bit of hairspray and like a comb.
Not even the hairspray. Like, that's it. Just we gotta like, maybe just to make it stand up. But yeah, that's about it. Just God Almighty. Yeah, you'd be perfect for Karl. You just have to have this sick.
Well, that and
always beg for money.
My German accent would have to be better than Tony's Biden accent.
Phil, I feel like you could do a good Louis Anderson.
Louis Anderson, we're here at the 3rd annual Producers Awards. Everybody's here, except the celebrities.
Man,
I shockingly do a really good poly people, but that's not nice.
Like, I've been told that my Gipper, old Ronnie Reagan's a little too close to home. Almost made Tiberius. Oh, damn you, Chris Farley. Well, Tony, you gotta ask, how we gonna get this podcast back on track? Because if we don't, then we're gonna all end up hazard analysis is gonna be canceled, and its data is gonna be down in a van down by the river. So yeah, that I can do it, Chris Farley, if I have to, if need be. It's not that, you know.
Sorry,
I mean, you could like strip down and do the Chippendales, but no, you got to pay for that on my OnlyFans. So that's a separate.
Oh shit, you can pay for that on my Twitch. I don't give a fuck.
Nice. Only farmers. There you go.
So, with all that being said, Tony G, the hazard and this analysis going into WrestleMania. Oh, you.
Okay, so the hazard of what? Jesus Christ! What kind of pitch was that? Anyway,
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania this weekend.
WrestleMania.
Touch on that too, motherfucker.
That's not what I expected.
Tony. Give me Commumania.
You just poured ice water on Tony
Wrestleism.
and you put the mic in front of him.
It's like, Tony, we're talking about the election of 2028 in NASCAR, talking about Yo Gabba Gabba. Go.
The hazard of communism is having to listen to speeches, and the analysis is they mean nothing. I would like to thank QAnon OE, Phil QAnon OE, as always. Osiris. I'd like to thank Dr. Evil. I mean, Jacanadar. I'd like to thank Dr. Evil. Yeah, he's great. Obviously, it's Pat down there in the middle on the bottom. And Socialist Chris Kringle joining us tonight.
And who?
Socialist Chris Kringle below me.
Nice.
Hey, Tony, can I see your left hand real quick? All right, cool.
Oh, yeah. But no, Socialist Chris Kringle, where he comes and he actually takes
himself
toys.
A bitch too, son.
He takes toys from the rich kids
And I'll tell you, when they came to my window, it won the orange juice, boy.
Yeah, my problem is I can't wear my ring anymore because I lost weight and mine was titanium and they can't resize this, so I gotta buy a new one. Damn it!
Or just start here
before the
no.
How much weight do you lose? About 100.
You gotta start swapping out those salads for hash browns. That's what you gotta start doing.
Right. I'm gonna pitch it. Thank you everybody for joining us for episode 2 of Hazard Analysis. Follow us all on Linktree/Big Buck and all the shows of the Big Buck and Empire. The Dog and Chicken Show will return eventually, but until then, Hazard Analysis will be filling the spot. Like, share, subscribe to all of them. Like I said, make sure you go to YouTube, subscribe to Hazard Analysis. We need follows. We need to get the show up and going. Now, obviously, you get it. Thanks all for our guests. You guys were all fantastic tonight. I appreciate you guys joining us tonight. I got one more thing to drink, and yes,
Justin.
Friday night we will be predicting and previewing WrestleMania. We got a 2-night event Saturday and Sunday over at the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. Go over there, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Even if you don't care about wrestling, even if you don't give a fuck about anything we have to say about it, at least go over to the channel and hit subscribe and give us a follow. That would be at least the very, very, very least you could do. But if you like wrestling or if you just want to hear us talk more mad shit, go over there. We got a 2-night event. It's going to be a 3-night ordeal. Preview, predict, talk about night 1, talk about night 2. Can't wait. Got one more chug.
Ziggy Zaggy, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Now,
what are you chugging?
Now, before we end here, I want to give chat an opportunity. Because, you know, there's as I understand it, there's these rules where if we get into the next hour, you got to drink again. So I feel like I should give them at least, let's say, 3 of the next 5 minutes to donate for me to drink. You know what I'm saying? Because then they miss their window. Now, that being said,
Justin, where did you go?
He drank and got the fuck off screen.
I'm right here, baby. Calm down, boo.
Damn.
Well, all right.
Okay.
Well, Spence.
Right.
Oh, go ahead, Jack.
Oh, no, I was going to say, as to how much weight I lost, it was only about 60 pounds. But the ring went from fitting on my ring finger to, for a while, fitting on my thumb to now I can't even walk without it falling off my hand. So
fits around your wang on those cold days. Like, now, okay.
No.
All right.
No,
so here's what we're going to do while we do this 3 minutes. I just had ChatGPT write me a campaign speech for 2024.
Oh, God.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Americans, I stand before you today humbled and honored to be standing here as a candidate for the presidency of the United States of America. As you know, I come from humble beginnings, managing car dealerships, and later finding a new passion as a Twitch streamer. I've seen firsthand the struggles that everyday Americans face, and I am running for president to ensure that every American has a fair shot at success. I stand here today as a proud Democrat and as a center-left candidate who believes in the power of government to make a difference in people's lives. I believe that we must work together to build a brighter future for all Americans, one where every person has access to quality education, affordable health care, a fair and just economy, and opportunities for success and growth like content creation. As a Twitch streamer, I have had the privilege of interacting with people from all walks of life, and I understand the power of community and the importance of listening to diverse perspectives. That's why, if elected, I will make it a priority to ensure that every voice is heard and that we work together to create a government that truly represents the people. I believe that we must tackle some of the most pressing issues facing our nation today, from climate change to income inequality to racial injustice. We cannot afford to kick the can down the road any longer. We must act now, and we must act boldly. My fellow Americans, I am running for president because I believe that we can build a better future together. I am asking for your support, your trust, your vote, and your sub. Together we can make
your vote, your sub, and your sub.
It says it and create a future. I'm done. It says in your sub.
Your vote and your sub.
All right, there's your 3 minutes. Did anybody fucking know?
Oh, thank God. Okay.
That was
no, but you had Yank and fucking Chicken in the post show about falling out of their chair.
That's incredible.
Oh my God. So now that's strange that you bring that up because I don't know if you're aware of this, Parallax, but
God damn it, Phil.
Your King of Extreme in 2024 am actually running for the presidency of the United States of America. Yes,
So,
in 2024.
Phil, this isn't something I can know because you told me this before, and I've already informed you that unless you do a lot of work between now and then, you are only going to walk for the presidency.
Oh, well, I don't even need to like kind of, when you're in one of those office chairs that you kind of bounce around, I don't even need to like bounce around in one of them. So no,
or you might segue for the presidency. You ain't running for shit.
Oh, well, I don't need to. The people are going to run to me, beat down a door to my path, or beat down a path to my door, because they're going to realize
all your corn.
Well, no. Luckily, I live away from my fields a few miles. So
wait a minute, they're gonna beat down your door. Where are you gonna be? Congress on January 6th?
No, I'm gonna be right here, and they're just gonna be like, "No, Phil, we need you. You have to run." This isn't something that I want. The KOE Nation has demanded it that I run for president to set this nation right, sir. This is
Parallax. I'm his head of the NLRB once he gets elected. So
like basically, I'm taking people who are very qualified for things, but they really don't want to do them. Like Iko didn't want to be my head of the EPA, but I said, "Well, okay, I'll go see who Mitch McConnell wants me to put." He's like, "Whoa, hey Phil, why don't you come back?"
My guy, as bald as you are, Jack. No matter what department you are, you're the head of it, and we both know it. There's no fucking way you can fulfill any other role in that department. Now, my real question is, I feel like we're putting Tony here in charge of foreign policy, aren't we?
No, Tony and Chicken are my press secretaries. Each time that they have a meeting of the press, like it's just another episode of Big Buck and Empire. And so,
press sec. Oh, he's your Spicy? He's your Sean Spicer?
He's my
I love
Tony
Sean
and Chicken.
Spicer. I miss Sean Spicer. He was great.
Oh,
for the record, I just delayed it for the full 5 minutes. Drink, bitches!
Okay. I got one from Trey. Before I take it, is there anybody else that's wanting me to make a pour? Tony's got a chug. I know that. So
Me, Phil.
Hey, Yank, I was just starting to like you.
You're welcome, chat. Intentional behavior.
So I have to take another double before the end of the show. God damn it almighty. I don't audience, I don't know why you don't like me. No, you love me. What am I kidding? You just love seeing me make the baby face, apparently. That's what Osiris is calling you. The baby face.
The baby pickle face.
Yep. But yes, folks. Give me the full screen here for just a second, folks.
I will.
So, wait. John Spicer look like a bitch. Oh, wow. All right, folks. This has been an amazing episode of Hazard Analysis. I've had an amazing time with all of you beautiful people. Join us here at the StreamYard link right here for the post show. It's right here, folks. It's where I'm going to slam my glass down when I'm done taking this shot of awful. So, folks, God bless every last one of you. And, folks, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us here at Hazard Analysis on YouTube. I am your King of Extreme, Phil KOE, the man of the hour, the man of the power, the man that makes you the podcast cower, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, and the lord of the Scottish Highlands. One damn handsome man if I do say so myself. You can, of course, find me at KOE Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch, right here at Hazard Analysis on YouTube, Truth and Fiction Pod on YouTube, Big Buck and Empire on YouTube and Facebook. And, folks, this weekend, join me and Tony G and Chicken for Whoa! WrestleMania! God bless every last one of you. Fuck this shit!
This man puts the ton in gin and tonic.
Motherfucker! See you at WrestleMania! Woo!
All right. Full screen me after it. Fuck it.
My earbuds died, so... Yeah, anyway.
I give Parallax a full
How's that for a Rhinestone Cowboy, Pat?
Thanks for having me, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. With that particular,
nice. Nice.
Oh my god. It's
folks.
Cheap. It's sweet. It sucks. It's the KOE of rum.
I have to say right there, Parallax, I love you, my man, but you had a Gungan vibe going on as you shook your head and you made the noise.
I'm fine
now
with
that
it,
you
bro.
mention it. Jesus.
I'm fine with it.
Well, no, just because of the noise you made. It was only then did I put it together.
That's all right.
And by the way, after what you drank, I don't blame you. That would have made that noise too.
Fair.
God, fair.
I can taste that shit in my ear holes.
I think you're doing something wrong then.
I was about to say, it's supposed to go in the mouth hole. Like, that's...
Yeah, that's where it's went, but it's Parrot Bay. That shit's like perfume. He's going to taste that for the next 3 days.
True.
God. Well, folks, it's the show so nice I had to outro it twice. God bless every last one of you. I can't wait to catch you here next week. All of you folks that were on tonight and all of our guests on the panel, in the chat, every last one of you was stellar and spectacular. And all y'all, you're welcome anytime. So God bless.
Next time I'll bring the whiteboard.
Oh, God almighty.
No.